everybody. Welcome to the studio version of Frame Trap. This is crazy. Huber said he wasn't sure how it was going to feel. It's a different vibe for Frame Trap. Frame Trap is all about vibes. I think it's like the key thing about this show. So hopefully we'll find our vibe in this new studio. Definitely. We're shooting this late on a Friday night. Praying, I'm praying, late night vibes. I'm praying that everything's going to work okay. I hope it all goes well. Big thanks to Ian and Don, who are here to hopefully put out any fires. But yeah, I want to talk about the studio, but before we get that, I should introduce my lovely panelists. Michael Huber at the end there.
Hello.
And right next to him, Bradley Ellis.
Hi.
I'm going to be, hopefully, sailing these new studio waters successfully. I'm Ben Moore. And I want to talk to you guys about the studio itself. You know, we kind of talked about it on the stream, and we kind of talked about it on the podcast, but how, forgetting Easy Allies, just focusing on you as individuals, how do you guys feel about the studio so far?
Excited.
Excited. Why are you
so
excited?
Excited that we have a space that we can call our own, you know? Jones's garage was still his house, so we really had to do, cram everything into like 1 or 2 days of the week, you know, because it was like, we don't want to be at Jones's every single day. You know, he's trying to live his life too. And Amanda also, you know, we're just constantly coming in and out. So I think now we have a lot more freedom with how we schedule things. And I'm excited to just have that freedom. Yeah,
cram was such a good word there because something that was always a little bit difficult at Brandon's is if you weren't shooting something, but something was going on, it was kind of hard just to exist, because we were using that entire garage either for stuff like the PC or games or a couch or a television. And so it was kind of hard to just like eat or something if you needed to. Which, you know, that's not Jones's fault. That was just the fact of the matter. And it's nice. We have like our own little room now where we can just go and sit on a couch, and it's just for that purpose. Which is pretty cool. Brad, how are you feeling about it?
I feel like we unlocked a town in a game or something. We unlocked our hub. That's what it feels like. Like we lit the bonfire at Firelink Shrine. Like this is like our hub right now.
Yeah.
A little weird because it's different, but in a good way. You know, we're just not super familiar with everything yet. We're still finding the groove of how everything's going to go. We're figuring that out, but it feels exciting.
Yeah, it's interesting that you use Souls as a reference there, because I do kind of feel like coming into the studio, you may never know who you're going to run into.
What NPC will be there and try to attack me?
Right. Blood might be organizing the library.
Yeah.
Brandon might be here with Sophie for some reason. That's just what I'm hoping. But yeah, you never know what you're going to run into. To me, it kind of feels like so far, just because we've only done a few things in this, everything feels like E3.
It does.
It does. Everything feels like E3. Which is good and bad. E3 is very exciting, but it's exciting in a way where it feels like you're on a roller coaster that is never going to stop. And that's kind of what this feels like. I'm sure we'll get used to it.
Yeah.
But right now it's just kind of like lights, sound, everything's different. But we'll get used to it.
Kind of feels like GT, like on the stage.
Yeah, it does. It does feel like GT on the stage, for sure. The stage where we had like GT Live is what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I don't have to worry about like some random person coming in who we don't know or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, are you guys supposed to be in here?
Yeah, what are you guys doing here? Do you work here?
I do miss that one guy, though, whose name I can't remember.
Trevin,
yeah.
Trevin,
the receptionist. I'm not sure if the audience is familiar. Maybe some like diehards.
He was on one stream.
Was he? I think he was on a betting
stream?
Special, right? With you and Kyle?
Yeah.
He would just strike up conversations, and he was into games. And
yeah, he was cool.
He was a
really cool
very relaxed, cool guy. Yeah. Shout-outs to Trevin if you're out there. I want to get started with you, Michael Huber, because this podcast is, in a lot for us as Easy Allies and for us as people who play video games, it's kind of a surreal moment.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about the Resident Evil 2 remake, which has kind of
you guys
been your life for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of been your life. Resident Evil 2 is one of your favorite games, a game that
It is my favorite.
It is your favorite game. Okay, there you go. It's a game you finished over and over and over, inside and out, and it got remade, not just in like, oh, they put a new coat of paint on it, oh, it's part of a collection. They really built it from the ground up and created something that I think is pretty special.
Yeah.
And so before we actually get talking about the game, like, how does this feel now that you've been through it several times?
Perfect. Because the reason I say that is because I can remember when Remake 1 came out and how big of a deal that was because of how beautiful it looked and because they were remaking Resident Evil 1. That's also one of my favorite games of all time. I can remember coming home and having my mom help me drape up the window because I got the game in the afternoon, but I wanted to play in the darkness. So my mom helped me like throw the curtains up and like black out my room to play it. But
And she was like, oh, this is a reasonable request.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
my
my
mom
mom would definitely do that.
My mom, we have a lifetime agreement where like, I haven't followed through on this obviously because like I review games now and I'm an adult and I buy my own games.
Yeah.
But for a long time, my mom was like, anytime Resident Evil comes out, like I'll get it for you.
Yeah, I had that agreement with my dad too about Zelda.
Yeah.
You know,
So my
more
mom knows.
things are making sense.
Yeah.
That you, with your parents, had a lifetime agreement about Resident Evil. That's pretty perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Sorry.
No, so I bring up Remake 1 because Remake 1 replaced the original Resident Evil for me.
Yeah.
I rarely go back now and play the original. I still do, obviously, because it's jolly and it's the original and it's amazing. But usually when I go back and play through the entire franchise, I'll just like play Remake. But Remake 2 is so special and so awesome and perfect because it gives me the feelings of the original and it doesn't replace it. It coexists with it. Like this has not, I can still get things out of the original that I won't get in this one and things out of this one that I won't get in the original now. Mm-hmm. So I love that they both can coexist in my life. And that was like the biggest fear. It was like, oh man, is this remake gonna just kind of replace the original? Because right before Remake 2 came out and right before I got the code and stuff, it was like, dude, time's running out, clock is ticking. Like this will be one of the last times you can play the original before the remake is out, because once the remake is out, like it kind of overlaps and stuff. So I was like scared and nervous about it, but all my fears have subsided and now it's just amazing.
Yeah, Resident Evil Remake is a game that I hold in a very high regard because it sort of felt like the epitome of the Resident Evil idea. And it felt so true to the original while just like it understood it in a way. It wasn't trying to change it. It wasn't trying to mess with it. It was just trying to enhance it. Like every decision it made just made for a better game. It wasn't like this weird misguided attempt at modernization. It had a focus and a vision that it really capitalized on. And I think you were worried, and I think a lot of people were worried with Resident Evil 2 Remake. It's like, okay, what are we trying to accomplish here? What's the point? And I kind of feel like, for me, if you have the original Resident Evil that started it all, and then you have improvements to kind of that general idea, and then you have Resident Evil 4, and then you have Resident Evil 7, admittedly, which is also very different, Resident Evil 2 Remake kind of feels like it's taking the idea of Resident Evil forward. Like, it uses this familiar setting, but its mechanics, its enemy design, its characterization of Claire and Leon, all of these things are either new or just like better than they ever have been, in my opinion. And it's pretty amazing. If you had to pick one thing, both of you, Brad, because you've been playing Resident Evil 2 Remake as well, if you had to pick one thing about Resident Evil 2 Remake that immediately comes to mind, what's the thing that sticks out to you?
I think everyone's going to say Mr. X, obviously. But for me, it's the zombies, man.
Yeah.
It's absolutely the zombies. It's how menacing they are, how you're constantly surrounded by them. The police, the RPD station feels overwhelmed, you know? Zombies are a threat. I love that 2 can take you at once and like do serious damage. The way they look at you, the way they just take shots after shots after shots. It's revitalization of zombies.
I really appreciate the no blood pool now, because that was the old sign of like, okay, they're finally dead.
Yeah.
Now, like that is, I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know unless I
Unless-
shoot them again or stab them or something. Like,
Or
I don't know.
the head comes off.
Yeah, if their head's blown off, I'm like, okay.
Even if you've seen it so many times, when there's that long pause before they come up and you have to turn around, it's just, it fills you with dread. It is true dread, and it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes they'll get up in a second,
Yes.
and then sometimes it'll be like 30 seconds.
Yep.
It's like, what?
Sorry.
No.
I
go for it.
just this random thing that I really appreciate in the remake is like, I don't remember if this was in the original one, but the boards, putting boards up on the window.
So the original had, there were 2 wires you could get. 2
Okay.
cords, and there were 2 sections. There was one with that initial hallway where the liquor is.
Yes.
Like that main hallway over there. And then the other hallway that now goes down to the parking lot on the other side.
Okay, yeah.
Where the guy's like, get me out of here, yeah. Where you save that guy.
Oh, in the
in the opening.
Okay.
So
Save.
those 2 spots in the original, you could put the wire there and it would close the shutters.
Okay, that I remember. Okay,
and
cool.
at points in the original, like there'd be a moment where like a ton would come through and it would kind of like refill that area.
Okay.
So it's
Man, I just felt it was just really satisfying me putting a board on a window.
Right?
And some dude trying to break it down and he couldn't. And I was like, yes, I got you.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
yeah, because you feel like you're
mauled from the back out of nowhere.
because you feel like you're patching up the station,
Yeah.
right? You're just like slowly getting it back online, like turning some lights on,
Plugging a
and-
leak,
Yeah.
I appreciate, though, that it's not just like you're magic erasering it away. Like, you can still hear the zombie pounding away.
Yeah, you can
It still
see
has
him,
a
yeah.
presence. It's still there in that world, which is really cool. And, man, I think a big part of the genius of Resident Evil 2, and this is something that I don't think just, like, horror games struggle with, but all games struggle with, where, like, you'll look at something really badass, but it doesn't necessarily feel badass. Like, the way you take it down is not all that exciting or interesting. And even in, like, older Resident Evil games, sometimes I would come across a new enemy and be like, oh, okay, like, this is just how you take care of him. And it kind of felt like a math problem. Whereas, like, Resident Evil 2 Remake, there are jump scares. It does have some got you moments, but a lot of the horror just comes from, like, how do I deal with these things? And how you deal with them is, like, pretty rough. If you mess up at all, you'll be severely punished for it. Like, a liquor could ruin your day if you don't tackle it properly. Dealing with Mr. X is frightening because you know that he's there. It's not that he's going to pop out at any moment. It's that you can hear him, like, right above you. And I think just, like, the process of dealing with these things and making it stressful and making it difficult is what's so terrifying. And I think that's cool. It's not just like, oh yeah, I opened a box and it popped out. Like, that's way more effective, and I think it stays with you. Like, I'll never forget Mr. X, man, in this.
Yeah.
Like,
Never.
I think
it's
it's so good.
The lighting is really great too in this
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's like
Gorgeous.
dark a lot of the times. Out in the old ones,
Yeah.
it was bright everywhere. You could see, but now I'm like
Totally.
the flashlight out and everything like that, man. Oh, it's so good.
Love the flashlight. Love it.
Yeah. No crossbow.
No crossbow. Nope. No crossbow for Claire.
Right.
the inventory is also phenomenal.
Oh my
by
god.
the way,
Yeah. Oh, so good.
just a concept that like is not outdated in the slightest.
Yeah.
Having to manage your inventory and make the decision of, do I press on? Do I discard the thing? Do I make the trek all the way back down
Yeah.
to the item box? Like, having to think through those things is still so good.
Yeah.
Like, they kept so many of the good things. They didn't just treat it like, oh, this is old and therefore bad. Like, they really, I don't know. Again, kind of what I said with Remake, they have like an understanding of what makes this special and exciting and intense.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna bring up the weapon or the ammo. That wasn't in the original, was it? That was
No.
from 3.
Yeah, three started the gunpowder.
Okay, I love the gunpowder.
Love gunpowder. Absolutely
it's so
love
fun.
it.
Yeah, the gunpowder was a big learning experience for me, where I feel like when I initially got gunpowder, I would use it right away, and they'd be like, oh, no, wait. Like, and again, just that decision, just like the item box, it's like, do I cash in for handgun ammo now, or do I save it for shotgun ammo or whatever?
Shotgun every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I also feel like pretty much every weapon was good, or a lot of the weapons were good. That was really awesome to see. Like there was nothing, just because zombies could take a lot to take down, and a lot of things could take a lot of ammunition to get down. I really feel like it stretched you to get out of your comfort zone. You didn't just find that one thing that you liked and mastered it. So, yeah.
Did you guys like the story?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did. I mean, let me put it to you this way. Like, yes, I enjoyed the story, but I enjoyed the characters. I honestly felt closer to Leon and Claire than I ever have.
Oh, Claire and Sherry this time around.
Yeah, Sherry's
so
a good
great.
point to bring. And Ada. I actually think they did a great job with Ada as well.
Yeah.
FBI. Yeah, Sherry was phenomenal. It's tough because I don't want to say too much. I think we're getting closer to stuff that we don't want to spoil. Also, I meant to say this at the top. We will be talking about Resident Evil 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3. We'll not be talking, obviously, about super deep story stuff, but we're going to be talking about mechanics and like how we generally felt playing these things. So there are timestamps in the description if you want to avoid that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Really adored the puzzles. Like my favorite puzzles in a Resident Evil game by far. Loved all the little locks.
Oh,
the
sure.
3 combination locks.
Oh, the little safes that you get.
The dial safes, the locks, the constant variety of puzzles. You know, ranging from those to like. The one I don't like is the one with the fluid, obviously, but that's such a staple of Resident Evil. I feel like every Resident Evil game, I'm like adjusting fluid levels or power levels with switches. It just constantly gave me something new with the puzzles, and I was never insanely frustrated. Like even Sherry's little box cube one, like just the amount of variety there was so awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel quite as strongly in favor of the puzzles as you do. Obviously, a staple, as you mentioned. But I don't think there was any one puzzle that stuck out to me and I was like, wow, that was amazing. A lot of them fell into a category of I have to rotate or twist this thing. And like, yes, you're obviously applying a method to it, but you're kind of just like fumbling around until you get what works. And so like... They were fine. Yeah. They were, like you said, they were never super frustrating or they didn't take that much time away. But I didn't think like, I don't know. I didn't think the puzzles were exceptional.
Got it.
I guess. But I don't know if I could tell you a Resident Evil puzzle that I do think is exceptional. So maybe that's
like
just
the one
me.
with the plugs too. And it's like a little riddle.
The
like night plugs to open that door.
The pieces?
Yeah.
The chess pieces?
They give you like a little riddle.
Oh, yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
this is next to this, but it's across from that. Like,
Yeah, that one so I did Leon A, Claire B.
Dude, the second run of that puzzle blew my mind. I was like,
the
what?
Plugs?
Yeah.
See, I didn't have that experience with both. Like, it was a little bit tougher, but with both of them, I was just like, okay, it was just...
I'm terrible at puzzles.
It was just done. But yeah, the concept was okay. I actually really like the medallion stuff, just because... there was a sense of danger with that one where I wasn't just like at a board or at a rack or something figuring it out. It was like I have to get here and then roll away and then Mr. X might be behind me. To be fair, you have to collect pieces for a lot of them and you have to encounter enemies for a lot of them. But yeah, just the medallions, just this like kind of panic of like getting there and putting in the right 3 things worked for me. But yeah, I guess it's true for all of them, all the puzzles.
Dude, Mr. X was the biggest puzzle for me the whole game. That was the hardest puzzle to figure out, dude.
Man, I went through like an emotional journey with Mr. X where I was like, okay, all right, he can't go in these save rooms. Maybe if I just wait, he'll like run off to the other side of the RPD or something. No, that doesn't happen.
People have been asking where the Mr. X name comes from. It's from the book. So if anyone out there is like, why do they keep calling him that? It's the Tyrant.
Okay.
But in the Resident Evil 2 novelization, they call him Mr. X.
You just been calling him my whole life. I was like, oh, it's probably a file or something they say.
Those books are awesome. I love those books. They're really good. There's like 7 of them.
Yeah, I feel like the files were done really well, where like all of them are pretty short. And so it's just a little tidbit.
I appreciated, so I've only done Claire A, but I appreciated how different Sherry's scenario was compared to her original one.
Absolutely.
Because you kind of retread it with Ada. Like, I don't know yet. I haven't
Oh,
played
in the original, yeah.
In the original, it's
yeah.
like the same exact area.
Yeah.
But this was like a really personal encounter kind of going on here. It was like really changed up the pace. Where I was like, I gotta hide, dude. I gotta hide from this guy.
Sherry, dude, vulnerable.
Yeah, I feel like better than ever, even better than RE7. They do a great job of making Claire and Leon feel like real people where this terrible thing is
Real
happening.
situations.
Because I feel like in RE, a lot of times they either feel like a superhero or there's like just so much goofiness that's enjoyable in its own way. I think that's awesome. But here, I don't know, I just related to them more because I felt like their responses and the way that they thought through things and the way they interacted with other characters was natural. And I liked that a lot. Huber, this game is so good that after I finished Claire B, it wasn't like, oh, this is too short. It's like, no, this is so good that
You just want to keep playing.
Yeah, I just want RE3 remake or something like that. I just want more of exactly this.
I know.
Yeah.
Remake 3, please.
Yeah.
It's never enough for gamers. More. Give us more.
So Huber,
Hey, we got DLC on the 15th, baby.
Yeah. Oh man, what a great
Don't
idea
spoil
for
that,
DLC.
though.
It's free, right?
Free DLC.
Yeah. It's a very clever idea.
Yes.
So Huber, Brad and I have played Resident Evil 2, the original, but you have a familiarity with it that like no one else at Easy Allies has.
I beat it a lot of times.
Yes. Is there anything that disappointed you? Because I think that's what happened to me with Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, where it was like, I just care so much about this original game that I am hypercritical in a way I probably wouldn't be if I didn't love it so much.
Yeah. Yes. There were two things. One that is justified and another that's not really. The one that isn't really that I was disappointed in was there wasn't enough city, Raccoon City.
Right.
I thought that was a missed opportunity.
It was much shorter at the beginning.
Yeah. Would have really appreciated maybe like 30, 45 minutes to even get to RPD. Like, let's go, man.
That initial gauntlet in RE2 is pretty key to that experience. Yeah.
Like, let me work my way towards it. But again, that's not really fair because it's like still similar to the original.
Well, they do some different things.
Yeah, I appreciate their attempts to incorporate elements of that for sure. But yeah, you're right.
And then the one that I think that's really fair is the way the scenarios match up. I really do feel like it's 1.5 scenarios as opposed to 4. You have Claire and Claire second, Leon and Leon second. When you add them all up, it does feel like 1.5.
I see.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest criticism.
Yeah, going through Claire B, the stuff that changed I thought was excellent, and the things you just don't get to experience as Leon I thought was excellent. There were definitely moments though where I was like, oh, we're doing this again. Yeah. There was this an element, a not quite boss that I'd like to talk to you about. I don't think we're too close to the release, I think, to really get into it, but I would want to get your opinion.
Definitely.
On that. Huber, RE7 came out last year.
Yes.
Right?
2 years.
2 years.
2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
2017.
I've lost all concept of time.
I know.
I really enjoyed RE7 a lot, and I really enjoyed
Joe Baker.
Yeah, I love RE7.
I really enjoyed Revelations 2, and I'm struggling to find the words to describe my feelings. Like, I really enjoyed those things, and I have a lot of positive things to say about both, especially Resident Evil 7. Yeah. But I feel like there's this like burning love that I have for Remake 2 that those games didn't match, and it's a weird thing to say, but it's like, oh no, like, you guys were great, but this is my true love.
I think because even 7 is mainline, it's so different.
Yeah.
It feels like a side story almost.
It really does. The connections to the overall Resident Evil timeline are there, but they're so minimal.
Right.
Whereas this is just rooted in every single
proper
thing.
Zombies.
Yes. So.
Yeah, I also have to wonder. So I'm very glad that they did first person in Resident Evil 7.
Me too.
It was terrifying.
If 8 is first person, I'm cool with it.
Yes, I'm cool with it too.
Yeah.
But it got me thinking, I don't... I didn't attach to the characters in Resident Evil 7 as much. I think maybe because I couldn't see them and they didn't feel as active in the story, whereas like Leon and Claire, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the first-person perspective, but Leon and Claire, I really felt like it was their stories. It was their struggle that I was connecting to, and so when they triumphed and when they had down moments, like that was what attached me to them. When I think about Resident Evil 7, it's not really the characters that I click with, even though there are great moments. It is how terrifying it is, and it's the situations they put you in.
Yeah, there's a detachment with the main character. You only really see
Ethan
like once when but and I think that's why there's kind of just a natural detachment there.
He talks kind of, but I don't feel like it's a ton from what I remember. Yeah. But yeah, we really like get to know Claire and Leon from what I've seen.
Yes.
Like full on cutscenes talking to each other. Like RE7 is just kind of like, it's all like in-game kind of dialogue and stuff like that.
And I love too when like you get punched by Mr. X, and like just because you have so much control of the camera, sometimes I'll be running towards the camera and I'll get punched, and they'll just be like, you know, just their face. It's like you feel that. You know what I could have gone for though, Brad?
What?
One of these.
Oh, the two-hand. Yeah, of course.
Come on, where was that callback?
Yeah.
In the original, he that's his move.
Yeah.
This thing.
Yep.
He's just like,
yeah, he does like the lariat kind of, I feel like, in this one now, which is sick.
Hubert's interesting because
Or punch.
I feel like when you bring stuff up with Resident Evil 2, it's either like, yeah, I kind of remember that, or like, oh no, I don't remember that at all. And so it's just like the original Resident Evil 2 is kind of like this hazy, distant memory, whereas you're like, let me tell you everything about it. Like it takes me a second to be like, okay, yeah. The other thing that I want to talk about, the grenades, the knives, and that stuff. And I especially when you get to things like what the optional modes that come later, let's say. Maybe people don't know about it. Let's not ruin it, I suppose. But just so the knives that you get, they break.
Yeah.
And you can use it to check to see if zombies are dead, and considering how tough they are to take down, that can be extremely useful. Or if they grab onto you, or if another creature grabs onto you, you can stab them and kind of get out of jail free with that item. But you have to, if you use a knife, you have to kill them completely to get the knife back, and it will be damaged. Same thing with grenades. You can either throw the grenades or use them to get an enemy off of you. And like the design of this is perfect. It's amazing. There are plenty of times, like I think it's easy to get in this mindset, this mind frame of I'm just going to have grenades be the things that will get me out of grabs. But there are a ton of times where throwing it can turn a seemingly near impossible challenge into so manageable. And it's just like this. What I love about this game, and what I love about games in general, is when you have that moment where you're like, well, let me try this. And it leads you to things that you never thought possible. Like Resident Evil 2 Remake, I feel like, is designed in a way where the more thought that you put into it, into moving, into using your items, the more you get rewarded. And I just think that's super, super, super satisfying.
Definitely. Because they're stronger when you use them normally, which I love.
It's a smart evolution of the defense items from the remake, because it's pretty much the same thing, but you could just use them in other ways.
I remember you loving that, Brad.
Oh my God.
I remember always talking to you about like the knives.
Dude,
in
man,
Remake.
when you put like the grenade in their mouth.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so good.
When those like insect ones at the end of Remake like scoop you up from the ceiling and you can like
throw it in. Yeah, so good.
So good.
Yeah, it's a really good game.
Yeah, it's real good.
A lot of people have mentioned this, and I tend to agree with them. It does feel a little weird that there's not just like a quick little dodge. It does seem like something that would kind of fit into it super well.
So let me headcanon this.
Okay.
Here's my headcanon. Leon and Claire, rookies. Right? They're not...
First day on the job.
They're not experienced with this.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3 introduced a dodge mechanic that I still, to this day, cannot get to trigger properly. But I'm thinking, Resident Evil 3 Remake You bring back Jill Valentine, stars,
Remember.
professional. So
It's a dodge.
it leaves the door open to make her Ellen Ripley, Jill Valentine, badass. The best character
but
ever.
I don't want it
you
to
know?
turn into 6 where I'm like
It
John
won't, it
wooing
won't.
everywhere.
No,
and
no,
jumping
no,
around.
I mean
won't.
like the simplest of
yeah,
dodges
like
where you move
Exactly.
to the left or right.
Just a little more-
bit.
just a little more capable.
Just a little bit more.
All right,
Yeah.
be careful.
Yeah.
I feel like with how they design the enemies, you could put that in and have it be a useful tool without it making it too easy by a long shot.
Yeah.
Huber, I
Like I
appreciate
would love it if Jill could maybe like push him away, you know, but you've got to get that timing right. Like it's a
Well,
risk versus reward type
7
thing.
had like the defense thing. You could like kind of block or something.
Yeah,
they could do
yeah.
something like that where you take like less.
Yeah.
I appreciate your headcanon, Huber, but when I think about like the weapons that Leon and Claire use and
Yeah.
the situations that they have to quickly piece together,
Yeah.
like they could move to the side. They're smart enough to do that.
Headcanon though, man.
Yeah.
I'm
You gotta
going to go with Huber on
gotta
this
respect
one.
the
First day on the
headcanon.
job.
First day, yeah. Got some nerves.
Really cramped hallways.
Yeah. Tight spaces, man.
It's weird. I don't even feel like Resident Evil 2 Remake is a remake to me. And
Yeah.
that kind of sounds dumb, but it feels like Resident Evil 8. I just feel like there's so much in here that feels like a step ahead. And we haven't even talked about the map.
I know.
The map is so good. And I want more games to use it. It's like one of those things where when you see it, you're like, why haven't we been doing this
Yeah.
forever? And what I mean by that is you will go and when you get to a new area, you got to find a map. Not that hard to do. But if you have everything in a room, in a section, it will color itself blue and it'll be red and it'll say still searching.
Yeah.
And if you've like laid eyes on something like a box of handgun ammo, it'll be like, hey, when you open your map, you'll see that this is there. And it makes so much sense in a survival horror game where they strap you with resources so hard. Like you go through so many bullets as you're just trying to learn the game that having this little thing that you can rely on makes it a smoother experience, but it doesn't make it easy. It's not like you're swimming in ammo.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
never swimming in ammo, I felt like.
It was really great, like on puzzles,
Or
like
rarely,
where
I
you
guess.
needed like to use an item somewhere.
Yes.
You'd be like, oh, that's where it is. Because I remember when I was playing through the original one, I was like, dude, I don't remember where the hell that was. Where am
Yeah.
I going? I'd be lost for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, you can get lost for sure.
But it's like here, it's like, hey, you can use the like a hydrant here or something
Yeah.
to turn something here.
And I like that it holds your hand kind of sure. It's like, hey, there's some stuff in there, so obviously you got to go look. But it doesn't. It'll still be blue even if there are like files there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, which I like. It's like, oh, these files
Well,
are
it's
still
like-
like hidden.
Did you, for somebody like you, our Resident Evil aficionado, was it too much? Was it too much help?
Yes and no. Sometimes I feel like I would go into a room and like map, pick something up, map, is it blue yet? You know, it was maybe a little too much where
Yeah.
I kind of lost that natural exploration of a room. It made it maybe a little mechanical,
I see.
but it didn't bother me. you
Just
know?
probably needs a tweaker. So
Yeah. I felt like maybe I got a little too reliant on it.
Sure.
And it kind of, just like a little too much open map.
I think
close,
the
open
game
map,
makes
close.
up for it. Maybe not all the way, but a lot by everything just being more challenging. I felt
Yes.
like this is way harder than the
Yeah.
original one. It
Yeah.
feels like way harder.
Hardcore is like the hardest Resident
Yeah.
Evil I've ever played.
That's where I was coming from, where there would be, specifically with Mr. X, and he'd be chasing you. Just the fact that I knew that stuff was there, but I'd have to deal with Mr. X,
Yeah.
like it added a whole another mind game where it's like, if I didn't know that it was there, I wouldn't even think about
True.
having to deal with that threat.
The
And so-
library is like a big room where it's like, dude, I gotta get in there.
I hate that library, man.
I know.
Because it's just, I need to get in there, and I just need to slide these things, and it just keeps
That's what-
coming. Yeah.
I cleared
yeah.
out that room early though. I was happy.
Nice. Smart.
Like I was happy like clearing stuff out in this game. I was like,
I
oh my
hate that.
god, it helps so much.
I hate that library, man.
Yeah.
Another thing, man, it's just like, I feel like you could drill down into the minutia of Resident Evil 2 Remake and walk away impressed with everything, because you can stun Mr. X, you can make him take a knee for a little bit of time, But boy, it's not very much time.
Nope.
It's the perfect amount of time for you to feel like a split second of relief and then immediate panic and regret that you used that ammo. And it's like, it's perfect. Like, it's just like they're conducting a symphony of like emotions through the mechanics of this game, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's max mental damage, man.
Yeah.
I was standing in a room like this, and I just heard thump, thump, thump.
Oh, the
I'm
sound
like,
design.
God, where is
unreal.
he?
Yeah.
I love the defense herb too. I thought it was a great addition.
Yeah, it's a really cool addition
Yes,
too.
yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Like knowing when to,
Pop
because
one.
you get in a tricky situation, like making it as efficient as possible. It's like, do I make a red, blue, and a green for full health and full defense, or do I just do
Red and blue
a
or
red
something?
and blue for defense? Because sometimes I would have my defensive buff,
You just want to get
but
hit.
I would be low on health, but then I would only have another red, blue, and green that would like stack on top, so I'd be wasting that blue herb on that. So it's like knowing when to make just the defensive one versus like a red and a green heal. I love that.
I had a weird experience with the defensive herbs. Early on, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, this will give me a defense buff. And I would try to like preemptively pop it, be like, okay, I'm going to get into some nasty stuff, and end up not, and just like having most of the thing run down without running into anything. So that was kind of a bummer, but you're just learning, and that's okay.
Yeah.
With Claire B, I did get to a point where I never felt like I was lacking in either herbs or first aid sprays.
Yeah.
I had a lot of them.
Yeah.
And that could be an argument, I think, for your map thing, where I was like methodically going through every room. But yeah, just because I had so many, I needed to combine. And so I ended up having a ton of red and green and blue herbs.
Yeah.
I made so many specifically in Claire B. as well.
The beautiful thing about hardcore is that one, when you take a bite, you're on danger immediately.
Yeah.
So
really?
So defense herbs are
Huge.
essential. And then also, because you have to use ink ribbons to save, those ink ribbons take the place of ammo and health pickups. So where an herb would be, now it's an ink ribbon instead.
You're like, great.
So it's like you need more health and you're getting less.
I really want to try. I haven't. So I've just been playing on standard for Leon A. Claire B, and I really want to try hardcore because I feel like by the end of Claire B, I was just like, okay, I've learned a lot. Like I'm getting through this now. Not by the skin of my teeth, but like I'm handling these situations. I feel like hardcore would be like playing for the first time all over again. Like things just take so much damage, do so much damage, that it'd be exciting. I don't know if I'd want to do it for my first time because I feel like standard was like a pretty reasonable
Standard was
challenge.
really good, yeah.
Damiani's
Damiani's beaten this game 15 times.
That's crazy. It has to be clear. It's not like this game has been out for months, or even a month. No, it hasn't been out that long. But kudos to him, man.
Yeah,
He's
he's good
professional
work.
for playing it.
He's gonna train me, dude.
He's
We're gonna
coming
stream.
after you, man, for your throne.
He's gonna train me.
Yeah, man. I knew this podcast was going to be a lot of Resident Evil 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3. I knew that going in.
The main event.
The main, yeah.
The
It's a
goaties.
special month.
Hell of a month, man.
Hell of a month.
Talk to me when we get through March and have that conversation.
Oh, baby.
What comes out in March?
Devil May Cry
Sekiro
5.
It's Devil May Cry 5.
and Sekiro?
Yeah.
Yes.
Both?
Both.
What a showdown, dude.
Yep. What's
What? No
DMC
showdown. It is
Friendly alliance.
Give me full servings of both.
DMC's
yeah.
like the 5th or something or 4th?
I think DMC 5 is the 9th.
So
That's a guess.
Sekiro's like the 22nd, I think.
Oh, we
So
got time.
You got time.
Nice.
You got time to play Devil May Cry.
Dude, it's time to boot up Dante's Awakening. Is that what it's called? 3?
Dante's Awakening. I just refer to it as DMC 3.
Yeah.
Dante's. Yeah, I think it is Dante's Awakening.
Dante's Inferno?
I never refer to it. Okay, I was a day off. It's March 8th, 2019.
Nice.
But yes, I
You got
think
time.
it is Dante's Awakening.
Yeah, I gotta
sounds
play
right.
3 again before. I must.
3 is my favorite one. 3 has
I know it
like
is.
my favorite boss fights in any video game.
I know.
Yeah.
You at once
Yeah.
told me that the only game you would give
Yeah,
a
yeah.
10 was Devil May Cry 3.
When did I say that? I feel like that. Yeah, it's
Before
Dante's
that-
Awakening. You're right. It's Dante's Awakening.
Those were the early days of me and you knowing each other at GT. Talking about 10s and stuff. That was when I was obsessed with a game getting a 10 because The Last of Us didn't get a 10.
Mm-hmm.
So then you and I just would always talk about like our favorite games and what's 10. And you were like, dude, really? The only game I would give a 10?
Yeah, Devil May Cry 3 was kind of an informative experience for me because when I first played it on that initial version, and what a lot of people said is like, oh my God, this game is too hard. And I felt that. It just felt like a brick wall. And I just couldn't do it. And like it was like something where like you played it and you appreciated it as much as you could. And then they came out with it on PS3. And I was like, no, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to play through Devil May Cry 3. And it was really hard, but it was hard in a way that it just made you master its mechanics.
Love that.
And I felt like when I got through the battles, it was like, no, I wasn't cheesing it. I wasn't doing anything lame. It's just these bosses had enough attacks that pushed me in a way where I just had to do it really, really well. Like, you couldn't shortcut it. You couldn't shortchange it. And so, like, it was demanding that you rise to that level, and then when you got there, you felt a level of respect. And it was just like climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I have such a respect for DMC3. And I think DMC4 is great as well. It's just like there are things on the side that DMC4 gets wrong. Like, it's kind of a bummer the way they split up that game and how much ground you retread, whereas I don't think DMC3 has that problem. But,
I love when a boss fight makes you sweat. Like, actually sweat, like sweating. Like, you're halfway through a boss fight, you're whittling them down.
Mm-hmm.
You just feel
one of the most intense feelings is when the boss is low, but
God.
you're also low.
Oh, I hate it.
And you make
I
a
love it.
split decision of like, I have to go all in right here or it's over.
But on the opposite end of that, a terrible feeling
This is when you die.
is
I only have 1K left.
Well, because it's hard for me sometimes to overcome that mental barrier of like when you get close, when you know that there's a sliver, there's just like a part of me that kicks in and is like, go nuts, man!
Yeah.
Just brute force it. And sometimes that'll get you killed and you'll feel real bad.
Yeah.
That happens to me for sure. Yeah.
Dude, I really want Dante and Smash so we can get Dante and Bayonetta. Pop, pop, pop. It would just be cool.
It would be cool.
That would be cool, yeah.
It would be cool. I feel bad that I never refer to DMC3 as full title. I feel bad that I didn't get Dante's Awakening right.
I don't know why I said it.
To be
never
fair,
do.
I haven't heard someone say Dante's
I haven't said
Awakening,
Dante's Awakening
since it came out.
You're like, gotta boot up Dante's Awakening. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he said that to me, I was
I don't
like,
know
I
where it
remember
came
that.
from.
Is this like some secret DMC anime that you're watching?
I only ever say DMC3. I don't know why it came out.
Yeah. No, it's all right. It's all right. I should have known.
Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening Special Edition.
Yeah.
It's a long title.
Yeah. I in the lead up to 5, I want to play them all.
That's
again.
right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Because
Capcom, baby.
yeah, Capcom.
Remake 2 and Devil May Cry 5. Months apart. What year is this?
I don't know. They've been doing very well
Where
recently.
are we, dude? Where are we right now?
You want to be careful, right? Because I think it's easy, and we've had it happen to us, like on camera, where we go through. We definitely are victim to honeymoon phases of games, and I'm victim to it, where it's like, oh, I'm in the moment. I love this. This is the greatest thing, and you haven't fully processed it yet. But I'm pretty damn sure Resident Evil 2 Remake's a classic.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'd be willing to go to bat for that. Like,
It's holding up.
It's good.
I think we're going to be talking about this game
For a while.
For a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a classic.
Probably until they remake it again in like 20 years.
Remake 3's got to be coming.
Yes, of course they're.
Well, I wonder if they'll
3
move
and
on
Code
to. I wonder if they'll move on to 8.
Of course, there will probably be 8 first, then
Go back to 3.
Yeah.
I wonder if 8's going to be VR first person. Oh, so many questions, so many possibilities. Revelation still needs
it's gonna be a
proper
tablet
wrap up.
game.
I think the frustrating thing about Resident Evil, and maybe something that is like damaging to it in a way, is they've done so many different things so well that when it comes to Resident Evil 8, you kind of want it to be all of them, but it obviously can't be. They have to pick a direction.
Totally.
Because, like, yeah, I'd be kind of bummed if there wasn't a VR section just because of
7.
7, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's move on. Let's talk about another heavy hitter. The other pillar of this episode.
Yeah, you got the right panel for this.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, this will not be a frame trap where we talk about a ton of games, but we will talk about the ones that we do talk about hard, hopefully. Kingdom Hearts 3. Again, just because Huber, you're pretty early on.
He's very early.
I'm early on. I'm like 4 hours.
He's very early.
4 hours.
Yeah, I'm
This weekend, I'm gonna charge through.
conversing with Brad. I am at the end.
You're like the home stretch.
And Brad has finished.
Yes.
So Brad, I'm gonna throw the same question to you that I did to Huber,
Okay.
and that was, you have this game has kind of been your holy grail in a lot of ways. It's the game that I think you kind of have wanted above all others for a long time, or at least definitely
Yeah,
up
like
there.
top of the list. Yeah.
And this game has been a long time coming. So beyond, I guess, just the quality of the game itself, how has it felt to kind of like finally have this moment?
It's felt very good. It's given me closure in my life. Because I've been running with this story since this whole scenario since I was 15 years old came out, and I'm 31 now, and it's like it just now culminated. Like I'm like living to it's kind of like a moment I never thought I would see just because of the long waits.
Yeah.
Just the things that have happened, and it just finally happened, and I feel great. Like I don't feel sad or anything when it was done. I felt good.
Brad, when I finished Kingdom Hearts 1, I think I was a sophomore in high school, like around that time, give or take a year or two. And sometimes it's odd because it's not like Kingdom Hearts 3 is a new Final Fantasy game where you're kind of appreciating it on its own terms. You are in a way, but it is continuing a story that you've been experiencing for 17 years, right? Did that feel weird at all to you? Was there did you appreciate it differently now that you're much older versus when you experienced it at a very young age?
Or like how I look at the story? I'm not sure.
Just not just the story, but just like Kingdom Hearts. Like, does it excite you in the same way? Are there new things that you've appreciated, just because of where you are in life?
Well, I'll say the thing that got me excited about Kingdom Hearts originally is when I first saw it in a magazine was the idea of these crossovers.
Yes,
but
that's
now the most important thing to me is what the game brings that's original to itself. So like its own characters and stuff like that. That's the most exciting stuff to me.
Yeah. When I was younger, it's not that I didn't enjoy the combat, but I didn't.
Oh,
It wasn't like why I was there.
Absolutely.
I wanted to see what new Final Fantasy characters they were going to bring. I wanted to see like how they were going to introduce the Disney worlds. But I think that's the thing for me that I've come to appreciate, especially recently, is how much I enjoy the combat and how much thought is put into it.
Yeah.
And how it kind of has a very unique flavor of action RPG that no one else has.
It definitely reminds me of Versus 13, of what we originally saw of that game. I'm seeing things where I'm like, it's in here now.
Yeah, there's one thing in particular that I will spoil.
But I'm talking about like a combat situation itself. Like I remember seeing old footage of Versus 13, and Kingdom Hearts kind of looks like that in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Boy, it is a looker, isn't it?
Yes, it's a very good looking game.
Yeah.
I would say, on its own, it's beautiful, but I think just like from where we've come from that series, it's mostly been around like the PS2 handheld kind of area, so they've kind of looked like that way for years, like decades, I would say.
Right.
But now we're like finally on a current gen console. Like we skipped all of PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah.
We're just like skyrocketing to Xbox One and PS4, and it's like, whoa, this looks crazy.
It's kind of awesome and surreal where you're going to these different Disney worlds, and it's not like, oh, okay, I am playing through this video game Kingdom Hearts interpretation of this world. Things look so good that it's like, no, it's kind of like they just took that from the movie screen and put it here, and I'm playing.
Yeah, they like blend in the characters with the movie kind of thing. Yeah, they do that really well. Like there was times when I was just like watching cutscenes in this game at like specific moments where I was just like, whoa, this looks crazy.
Yeah, it really does enhance the storytelling to a pretty ridiculous degree, because when you go through some of those other games, just due to the limitations of the tech that they're using. They just don't animate as fluidly. Their emotions aren't being expressed as convincingly. Whereas here, you just get so much more that I do think it makes the storytelling better overall. I want to talk to you, not just like how it feels now that we're finally here, but did this do it for you?
Yes.
You know, after all this build-up, did it satisfy you?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
I was very happy with how it ended.
Huber, you've gone through all the Kingdom Hearts games relatively recently.
Took years, but
it's chipping away.
I just finished Dream Jar 2.8, the 2.8 package, like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, recent.
And you're still early on in the game, but I would argue that Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of opens with a bang. There's a lot that you take in, even in the first few hours. What are your first impressions of Kingdom Hearts 3 so far?
High stakes.
Yeah?
Love it. You know, it is unapologetically 3. It is, everything you played before, everything led up to this moment. So this game like starts with all the chips in place, you know? So I feel like right from the get-go, the stakes are high and the mission you are on is extremely compelling. So yeah, man, I love it. Like immediate tears with the opening cinematic. Like Face Your Fears or whatever, that song, and it's like going through the whole timeline. Yeah. Like that's it. I was like, I set the controller down. I was like, dude.
So
can't handle it.
when I first heard Face Your Fears,
yeah, dude.
Because I'm not the biggest dubstep fan.
Me, nor am I.
The first time I heard it, my initial action was like strong negative. Really didn't like it.
Did they release it before the cinematic with it? They like released the song?
They did like, I think it was
I just heard the song on its own.
I think it was
didn't watch
they
the
did like a
cinematic.
trailer at
Okay.
first.
I can't tell you the
Okay.
order in which it was released, but I just heard the track on its own.
Got it.
Really didn't like it. Now I love it.
Yeah,
now
dude.
I'm listening to it like
Yeah.
pretty much daily. I really like it a lot. It's grown on me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's not like overbearing dubstep at all or anything like that. I would like throw it in more than just the general EDM era category, but like it's not as like wah, 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 like as insane as like other Skrillex stuff he used to do.
Yeah, I think just for me, it was so different.
It's a rapid departure from
Yes.
what 1 and 2 were, I will say that, but at the same time, I really appreciated that it was very different from 1 and 2.
Right.
But I mean, this game has 2 themes.
Listen, that initial impression was wrong. That song is great.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I could totally see it's just really different.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This game just gives you 2 themes in this game.
It's just
like, let's
epic
do 2.
watching the just the timeline, you know?
Yeah, you seeing everything you've done.
So I'm a sucker for that. Dude.
Yeah.
I'll weep for that every time.
I don't want to get into the Kingdom Hearts 3 story like at all. I think it should be treated as a precious thing for reasons that I want to get into.
100%.
So
I couldn't explain it to you if I tried anyway. So
Huber, I kind of feel like I'm at a point where I almost could.
Yeah, but me and Ben have been talking when
Yeah.
he like makes progress. We talk.
Yeah. Yeah, my experience with Kingdom Hearts has been all over the place. So I've played through 1 and 2 and Dream Drop Distance, and just recently I
Birth by
played.
Sleep?
I played through the Terra storyline.
Okay.
And I'm at the end of Ventus's storyline.
So you didn't do Aquas?
I haven't done Aquas. So that's my experience with Kingdom Hearts. So I didn't play Chain of Memories, didn't play Coded, didn't play. I started 358 Days Over 2 and was like, no, I just wasn't feeling it. Yeah, so I need to watch it.
Dude, I played all of those because when I played them when they came out, there was no movies. And when they made a movie, I was like, thank God.
yeah.
And I think
You just kept telling me how lucky I was, bro.
Yeah,
you're like, you're
stoked.
it wasn't until doing research and watching a lot of the many excellent videos that are on YouTube about Kingdom Hearts and playing Kingdom Hearts 3 that I think I completely grasped how important literally everything is. Like
yeah.
nothing. And I mean this is not an exaggeration. It feels like everything is vital in some way.
Yeah.
And I feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 really makes that evident. And so I'm glad that A, I've played what I've played, and B, I've done so much research because I feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 is respecting the story that it built up.
Yeah.
And it's so far, haven't seen the very end yet, it's not taking any easy ways out. It feels like it's constantly calling back to things, constantly reminding you of things, constantly trying to tie as many things together in a way that's pretty fascinating and makes it fun to go down the rabbit hole. You always hear how convoluted Kingdom Hearts is, and I have been guilty of this.
I mean, it is.
It is convoluted.
It is.
But like, it's convoluted, it feels like, with a point, because I feel like before I would dismiss it as like, oh, it's convoluted in a way that it's not enjoyable. But if you make that effort, I feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 is a better game for it.
It is.
And yeah, I like that it's rewarding that effort and it's making me want to go and play even more and know even more. And so I think that's all I'm trying to say is I think that's a credit to Kingdom Hearts 3's story, is that it's been really fun for me trying to piece this all together because the payoff is there.
Love it.
And so that's really cool.
Yeah.
Love any story in a franchise that makes you work for it. I love it.
Yeah.
Even like the MCU, man. Like, you know, there's so much of it. And like, yeah, it's Infinity Stones, whatever, but there's still a lot of little things that you can pick out if you take a little extra time. Same with Resident Evil, you know, you pick some documents and while it's not as convoluted as Kingdom Hearts, you still, I love putting in the extra work to really get a grasp on the lore.
So I'm with you to a point, but I feel like I've had some bad experiences where it not that it's punished that effort, but it didn't quite live up to what was put in. I think Metal Gear Solid has been like that sometimes.
I give Phantom Pain a pass because of the situation, but yeah.
But you still feel that,
You
right?
still
Like-
feel the burn.
like-
Yeah, I feel the burn.
You kind of, it's like you kind of go in expecting something and it's like, it's not quite there. There are things that I appreciate about Phantom Pain's story. There are decisions made that I think are interesting, but it doesn't quite give you that like whole feeling, right?
It used to.
Right, exactly,
Until 5.
exactly. Whereas like you finish Metal Gear Solid 3, you're as full can be.
And 4.
Dude, when
like,
I finished
Metal Gear Solid 4,
4, yeah, I felt
it's kind of a Kingdom Hearts 3
Yes.
moment
Yeah,
where
it
it's
is.
like the payoffs and
There are a
everything.
lot of great things in 4.
Yeah.
There's like there's a few things about Metal Gear Solid 4 that drive me insane to this day. But yes, there are definitely.
Sure, yeah.
Oh man, like yes. I won't get into it, but yes, there are things in Metal Gear Solid 4 that are amazing.
Dude,
Anyway,
Left Alive, I hope it's good.
Me too.
I've been burned before. I even feel like Mass Effect to a degree. There was a bunch of weird feelings in Mass Effect 3 that I had where I was like, this doesn't seem quite right. And obviously, of course, that is also colored by the huge controversy of the ending. And so it's just nice. And, you know, we'll see if it sticks to the landing for me. But Kingdom Hearts 3 has, like, made me excited to just, like, be a fan of this thing. Not just, like, I'm playing this game, but I want to know more.
It feels good because you're there with me now. Nothing pleases me more than Ben just, like, asking me questions.
Dude, just randomly, I'll send, like, a really intense, like, no build-up question to Brad on Slack. I'll be like, all right, so what about this thing at this specific moment? Why did this happen? I'm like, I hope that wasn't too out of left field.
And I just
he handles it like a champ.
Because he said something to me, and I was like, so where are you at the game? And he's like, I'm here. I'm like, okay, just keep playing.
And that was the right response
Yeah.
because the question did
Was
get
answered.
answered.
My favorite thing is when both of you guys were like, how do you stop Mr. X?
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
I just
didn't respond.
I was like, can I stop this
I'm
guy?
like,
Because I
figure it
remember,
out.
Yeah.
Because Nemesis you could bring down and get like some ammo or whatever.
Yeah.
No, not anymore.
Huber. So myself, Brad, and Ian have all separately messaged you
How do you stop Mr. X?
How do you stop Mr.
Yeah.
X?
Yes.
without talking to each
Without
other. Just
talking
a
to each
natural thing that happened.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Back to Kingdom Hearts 3.
How good's that music
Huh?
in Kingdom Hearts 3? The
It's
music's
very
so
good.
freaking good.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just want to listen to the music forever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Forever.
I was trying to see if I could buy the soundtrack today.
Yeah, give me
I did that too. I went on iTunes.
Dude.
Can I
and
buy
it was
this
not
yet?
there. I was thinking about it. Like, I need to make a playlist, but I haven't made a playlist in so long. I haven't even like connected my phone to my computer in years. I just don't do that anymore. I just use Apple Music. So, but the gameplay I want to talk about with Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
Because that's also been a bit of an emotional roller coaster for me. So playing Birth by Sleep, Brad, I was like, oh, this combat is sick.
Yeah.
I really got into it. I've been playing Birth by Sleep on standard, and I was like, I've been enjoying the combat so much. I'm going to play Kingdom Hearts 3 on proud. So that's what I did. And then I was like, oh, this is super easy. And I'm at a point now where I do feel like the boss fights are pushing back a little bit, but it is definitely easier than I was expecting.
Me too.
And initially that was disappointing. However, I kind of adopted a new mindset, and it made me appreciate it in a different way, because something I respect about Kingdom Hearts 3, and again, not getting into specifics, Kingdom Hearts 3 gives you like an absurd amount of things to mess around with.
Yeah.
You get so many abilities, you get so many keyblades, you get so many links, and like all of these keyblades have different forms, and you can use them in different ways.
Forms.
And so that to me is where a lot of the fun is coming, is just, I feel like every time, not every time, but like essentially every time I level up or every time I clear a major story section, I have a substantial new thing to mess around with. So much so that I'll get through a fight and I'll be like, I meant to try that new thing and totally forget. Yeah. And so from that perspective, I think it's pretty fun. But yeah, what were your thoughts on the difficulty?
Really loved it. Oh, the difficulty, easier than when I compared to the other games. It seemed easier. I don't know. But
for me too, Brian.
It seemed easier, which is like fine for when I was playing it. I was just playing on normal just for the review.
Sure.
I definitely want to go back and do like proud for stuff like that. But I was like, oh yeah, this is pretty easy. But like, I'm kind of a veteran at this point in the series. Like, I've played a lot of them on critical.
Right.
So I kind of like know what to expect.
Do you think they'll add a critical for 3?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope they patch it in or something. I mean, they're patching stuff in, like movies and stuff in the game. So hopefully they do stuff like that.
Brad, Kingdom Hearts 3 is a very flashy game. There are a lot of opportunities
like one of the most flashy games I've ever played in my life.
Yes, a lot of opportunities to push triangle and have a bunch of crazy stuff happen.
Like I feel like there's just fireworks blowing up constantly around me.
Really glad
just
you can turn those off.
Yeah, you can skip all the animations.
I'm thinking about it, but I don't want to miss some that are cool.
Your first time, you should kind of see them, but like switching like keyblades really, or like the form really fast is really great later on in the attractions. Because sometimes like they are kind of show buddy, which is cool, but you can turn them off.
The attractions, man.
Yeah.
The water one.
And like the team up attack, dude, like the first thing you launch with Goofy and you like throw him on the ground. Like when that happened, I was like, dude, this is the best.
Yeah.
So I feel like in Kingdom Hearts, sometimes I appreciate that you go to a new world and they try a new thing. But to me, sometimes it just doesn't work out. Sometimes it just doesn't click in a way, or it goes on for a way. So like, Monstro's a good example.
Yes.
Monstro got a little old just visually.
Yeah, okay.
So they try a bunch of different things in Kingdom Hearts 3 that are brand new and unique to each world. And I feel like people are going to complain about a lot of these things, but I, for the most part, really appreciated them because they all feel like significantly different, A, and B, I feel like nothing has lasted me too long.
Correct.
Like, I feel like if it's something that I was really worried about that was going to take a long time, like, you have to collect a lot of something at one point. And I was like, oh, this is going to be terrible. Not that bad.
No, pretty fast.
A few minutes later, you're through it,
fast.
and it's fine. And it's like, I actually got to explore a lot while I was doing this.
Each world kind of throws usually one unique thing at you, unique to that world.
Yeah, and so there hasn't really been any world that I didn't like.
And I said in my review, like, some of the best worlds in the entire series.
Yes.
When I look back at like how they implement the actual Disney aspects of the game and like the going through the world themselves, like I love Birth by Sleep, but some of the areas are just really tiny rooms.
They are.
And like
not only do you get through the worlds extremely fast, it really does feel sometimes like there are a couple of rooms stitched together.
Through that stuff really fast, and like some of them are kind of boring. Like the Stitch one is like not one of my favorite ones. I'm not really a fan of that one.
Yeah, the thing for Birth by Sleep is it's like if you're not into the combat, there's almost nothing else.
Correct.
Beyond the story and the characters, of course. But just in terms of gameplay. Yeah, and that's what I want to talk about with Kingdom Hearts 3 is these worlds feel expansive.
Dude, yes. They're way bigger than they've ever been.
Yeah, I think like, sprawling might be a touch too much.
I don't want to talk about like what like there is, but some of the later worlds are massive. Like the stuff you can do is like massive. Where I was just like, what? How is this so big and what I'm allowed to do here?
Right. And that has been really fun. Just searching for chest. Like,
Love
again.
chests.
I kind of brought this up with Dragon Quest XI, and I feel like it's a similar feeling here. Where something I loved about Dragon Quest XI is it felt like there were things to find in the world, and it was rewarding to make the effort to kind of, run all the way around and try to get as much as you can. But there wasn't so much stuff that you hated it. Kingdom Hearts 3 is kind of giving me a similar feeling where it's like, oh, I can collect these ingredients, I can break through these rocks, I can open these chests.
Is there a way to bring up the map full screen or just in the
That's
corner?
right.
No, and
No.
why?
I don't know why.
Why?
I don't know why, but no, you can't.
Again, I think it's a design thing. It brings me back to Resident Evil 2, where it's that over-reliance on the map, and you just keep getting in your menu, bring up the map, and the fact that it's just there.
The thing is, I will say,
keeps you
kind of
focused.
in defense of
But
it.
I mean, my argument to that is, then you just have an over-reliance on the mini-map, and it feels less elegant than just being able to pull up the full thing.
What I will say with my experience with the game is how there was moments where I was like, oh, I wish I could just see the whole map. I don't feel like the layouts are necessarily too complex where I was like, I need to look at a map. I would say the game or a lot of the areas themselves are very distinct, so I could kind of understand where I'm going. There's a few instances where I was like, where am I right now? Kind of thing like that. But a lot of time I knew where I was just by how the layout was, because it was so different compared to everything else.
Yeah.
Like the toy store, like, that's early on. You're fine. You could figure it out. You're okay. But there's like a few
Dude,
moments,
that world is sick.
yeah, it's real sick.
Yeah.
But there's a few, like, partying up with Buzz and, like, Woody is the dopest thing ever. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, no slam to the voice actor. I don't think, like, isn't it Tom Hanks' brother?
That's what I heard.
Woody?
I didn't look
Colin
it
Hanks?
up. No, Colin Hanks'
son,
son.
his son, my bad.
I heard that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's not true. But Woody has been, I think, the only performance so far where I'm like, this is not quite doing it for me. It wasn't so bad that I didn't like it. It just wasn't Woody.
Insane problem here in the first world.
Did I say Tom Hanks? I meant brother. Sorry.
I said his son. You were right.
Okay.
You said
Yeah,
brother.
you said, yeah.
A character shows up that is like a staple in this franchise, and he doesn't say one word.
I assume they didn't get him. So they didn't do it.
It really bugged me.
Oh, I know who you're talking
so
about.
awkward. It was like, dude, just like,
Yeah, he didn't
like erase
say a
him
thing.
out then.
Yeah,
like
he
don't
didn't say
have
a
him
word.
here.
I feel like we can say this character. It is within the first little bit of the game.
It's in the very beginning. It's the Olympus.
It's Phil.
Phil,
Yeah. Yeah.
And Phil's just like,
It's so awkward. It's so awkward.
So
like,
awkward.
They kind of like cut to him, and you're like, oh, this is where he's gonna like chime in.
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything.
a word.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
because like in 2, it was infamous, the line like, get off the hydrant back. Like, because he would never shut up. And Nomura's like, you know what? Okay, fine. He's just not going to say a word now.
Yeah, it's just weird because Phil has been so important and so involved in that world.
Yeah.
But it was funny.
Phil was always like kind of in the realm of training you to be a hero. But when you come to this world, you are the hero. Like you're
Well,
already.
I would argue
But
that
still,
the whole
even-
point you're coming there is because
I know.
Jensen's like
I'm just doing a Michael Huber headcanon
Headcanon,
all right.
situation right
trying
here.
to rationalize it.
still even like, oh, you're so strong now. Like you could get anyone to
Yeah.
do that.
But can you like replace Danny
so
DeVito?
funny. I'm glad you said
I
that.
think it was Danny DeVito.
Phil? Yeah.
Danny DeVito?
It's Phil. Yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
Beyond
Yeah, the penguin, man.
Crazy. Had
Beyond-
no idea. Are you sure?
Yes.
Wow.
Beyond collecting things like items and stuff, I do think Kingdom Hearts 3 does a pretty good, or at the very least decent job of having like little ways that you can interact with the world to just make it feel more alive. Where you're like, oh, this is going on. Like these people are acting here in this specific way, or I can spin on this barrel and they'll respond to it. And the fact that like whoever you talk to is voiced, like there's just all of these things that I don't know. I feel like for a lot of other Kingdom Hearts places, they kind of just felt like
Empty.
attractions or rides, whereas these really do feel like
places.
worlds. And yeah, maybe it's just because I was playing Birth by Sleep before, but it's like, oh, it's nice that this is longer than a half hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love just like a little moment in that game is with the camera. Like
Yeah.
I was just like doing around and like, I
Selfie,
went
dude.
over someone.
Okay, can you speed up the like horizontal and vertical spin of the camera?
I don't know.
Because there are some times where I just want to like go and like look around,
Like fast? I'm not sure.
but it's so slow.
Yeah, I'm not
it's
sure.
so slow.
But like the characters all have like unique dialogue for like when you have the camera on them or something like that.
Goofy's like, hey.
Yeah. Take a picture.
Yeah,
Some stuff
so
like that. It's
awesome.
like just a little tiny thing like that I loved.
Brad, it's really good. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
I feel confident in saying that. I just kind of, like I have with Resident Evil 2 Remake right now, where when it's over, like, how long are we going to have to wait for more Kingdom Hearts?
I don't know, man. Like, they're on Unreal Engine now. Like, Square Enix isn't messing around necessarily as much with, like, random BS engines they couldn't get to work. So hopefully that speeds up the process.
Yeah.
Yo,
As
can
long
we,
as
can we
they're
farm the RE
like,
engine
if
out
they
to more
stop like surprise like throwing Nomura as director on games when he doesn't know it, maybe we'll get him more instead of being like, oh hey, now you're working on Final Fantasy XIV when he didn't know about it, and like Versus 13, whatever that fiasco was going on there, so that probably tied up a lot of 3 like actually coming out. So hopefully they've like learned, because I said like the PS3 era was kind of like a weird Square Enix time, as you know.
It was a weird time.
It was a weird time for like a lot of Japanese games, I would say.
Brad, a question that I think is incredibly common, and rightfully so. You hear us talking about Kingdom Hearts 3 on Frame Trap. We're
Yes.
excited. We're
Yeah,
into it. You know, we're gushing about it in some instances. And they go, man, I really want to play this, but I don't have time to play everything.
Yeah.
Should I do it? What would you say to them?
I would say if you want the most out of the game, yes. You can have fun. Like, if you don't care necessarily about learning the story, you could just go have fun playing through Disney World. You know, like, oh, cool, I'm going to play through this Disney World and have a great time doing that. But if you want, like, the full experience what the game is actually trying to do, like, because a lot of the game is it's self-story. Like, Disney Worlds are always a big part, but, like, this is the end of this whole build-up. I would say if you want the most out of it, then yeah, you should.
Yeah, I
And
agree with you.
especially
Like-
if you love Disney.
Yeah, and I would say Square's done a good job of trying to like accommodate for that.
Yeah.
They've released like you could get all the stories now on current gen consoles. Like they've made the effort. They've made like
The all-in-one
least,
package.
The least desirable games and movies now you could just watch. Like so they're putting in their effort, which I really appreciate. But yes, if you do want the most out of it, you should play all of them.
Brad, I agree with you 100%. I think that is a good answer. If you want the most out of it.
Yes. But like my like Chris, my girlfriend's playing it. She was playing it. She had a good time, but she doesn't know everything about it. But she still had fun. Like she would
Right.
ask me stuff.
So that's
But like she still was having enough fun just playing it.
That's my side thing.
Yeah.
Is so like Yakuza, for example. The first one that I played through was Yakuza 3, and it's a different situation than Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
Totally. I'm not going to pretend that they're 1-to-1, but I enjoyed that game enough that it made me want to play more.
Right.
And you know, my level of knowledge increased over time. And I think that can happen with Kingdom Hearts 3. And again, like, if you're like, no, I really kind of want to experience it in order, that's totally fine. I commend that. And yes, you are going to get more out of it 100%. But I do think it might be possible that if you play Kingdom Hearts 3 and you enjoy it, it might just inspire you
to actually go
and-
look at
Yeah.
more stuff like that.
Of course, it's different in the sense that this is an ending, and so you're going to know everything when you're playing those other
Yeah.
games. So that
But with this series, like how you got there is just like it's like insane how like
Yeah.
things got there. So that could be a fun spectacle for you.
right? Yeah, just I don't know.
No,
something
yeah,
to,
totally.
something to think about.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I brought that up in my review, like how if like you haven't played a lot of these games, you're not gonna probably enjoy as much as if you did play it.
I don't know what else to say about Kingdom Hearts 3 because I don't want to ruin this beautiful game for people. We are going to have more discussions in the future. Where we'll be
I
we'll
mean,
be
it's a
little bit-
spoiler mode. We're gonna do one.
We're gonna
It's
do a
gonna
spoiler.
happen.
We're gonna do a spoiler
doubt.
mode, so we are gonna be a little bit more uncaged there.
Oh, I'm dumping everything.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Brad, you're gonna
I'm gonna like make a list of stuff we're gonna
Yeah.
like.
good.
It's gonna get crazy.
Good.
Excellent.
Like I'm gonna do my best to try to tell everyone what's going on.
I want to talk a little bit about Anthem.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
This is the anthem.
That's
Throw your
right.
Hands up. I want to talk a little bit about Anthem. I tried out the VIP demo. And so this is a very like first impressions kind of thing. This is not my final opinion on Anthem. It was a bummer that it took so long to get in on that first day. That was pretty rough. But I was somebody who, if you see like loot-based ever-evolving shooter, that's not gonna get me like hyped.
Right.
It's not that description in and of itself
Same.
isn't gonna do it for me. I don't have anything against it. In fact, I have even immensely enjoyed it. But like, that's not gonna do it for me the way that other things, other genre descriptions might. You're like, hey,
The numbers going up.
the numbers
isn't
going
enough.
up in a loot-based shooter, not enough for me. And also, I just don't feel the affinity to BioWare that I used to.
Sure.
Well, it's an uphill battle because one is it's a new IP, so there's no attachment. You got to earn that, you know. Whereas people keep bringing up Diablo 3 in this, they're like, oh, it's like Diablo. Like, what's wrong with that? That's great. And it's like, dude, I was already so attached to Diablo. Video games were so different back then, where looting was just like this crazy thing. You're looting with your friends, like, numbers are going up. That was like a novel concept. Whereas this is like, this idea has been done, you know, not one for one, but the idea has been done.
Right.
So you got to like build up that attachment. I got to get in that world and get caught up in it.
Not only has that idea been done, but it has been done in a sci-fi with a fantasy twist way, which is exactly the vibe of Anthem. I do not think the art style, the direction of Anthem is like, oh my God. It can be very pretty. It's a very beautiful game, but I don't think it is especially distinct. Now, all of that aside, all of those disclaimers and all that stuff, I had a good time.
Nice.
I didn't have like such a good time that I'm like, this is going to be an awesome game. But I was playing on PC with an Xbox One controller, and it was really fun flying around. It was fun trying to incorporate the ability of flying and hovering into combat. I love mobility in games. It gets me excited. It's fun to just fiddle with. And that was a really cool part of Anthem. And another thing that I really like about Anthem, just playing as the Ranger, as the only Javelin I've played as so far, Javelin-like classes, if you will, is the Ranger, is how low the cooldowns are. And how they kind of design around that. So encounters are very swarmy. You'll go somewhere and it just kind of feels like a bunch of dudes are on top of you. But your abilities that you have, it always feels like, at least what I was messing around with, you can activate them very quickly. And so it's like, I throw out some rockets and then just a little bit later I'm throwing out more rockets. And so because the cooldowns are so short, it feels very active.
Cool. And
it's just like, I'm getting in there, I'm doing it. I'm moving all around. I'm trying to dodge stuff. I'm firing stuff. It's just like it's hectic in a way that is fun.
Did you play solo or with some random people?
So I started off as solo, and I was just playing the default difficulty on solo, and it actually felt like way too much. And apparently they said, like, if you're playing solo, bump it down. Like, that's the way you should go.
Yeah.
And then I teamed up with people, and then normal felt
Fine.
super fine.
Cool.
Yeah, it was fun. There was a puzzle at the end, and it was like, oh, this could be like maybe interesting to talk to other people, and just like, it wasn't that much. It was just like you had to pay attention to the environment to get through it. But if they incorporate more puzzles in the quest, that could be something that spices it up in a way just beyond going and killing a wave of enemies. And I like, at least at the outset, the idea of, like, you're flying around, but your boosters, your thrusters, they overheat pretty quickly. And so you have to, like, go through water or be above water. And that's just kind of an interesting way to think about navigating it. It has just a little bit of a small touch. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to go from point A to point B. I'm going to go to point B. Where's the water around that way so I can keep flying, man?
Cool.
So, yeah, that was really cool. But there are some concerns. Even just doing one mission and being out in the world, it was, hey man, go here, kill these guys, stand on this point, wait for this meter to fill up, and then kill some more guys. And repetition or similarities to other games makes sense, and so it's a little weird to harp on it too much. But I definitely had this moment of, is this going to be Anthem? Like, is this going to be something where it gets old sooner than you want it to? So that's a concern. I don't know. Yeah. I haven't played enough to make that judgment call.
Yeah.
The story also didn't make much sense to me. I don't know if that was intentional. But it kind of felt like they were just throwing me into it, and some crazy stuff happened, and a lot of terminology was thrown out. Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention.
I think the demo is like a halfway point. Okay. If I read that. I think so.
It super felt like that.
Yeah.
Where they were throwing stuff at me, and I didn't quite feel grounded enough in this world to properly appreciate it. And then some crazy stuff happened that was crazy, but again, didn't really understand it. And you're in like this hub. And it's pretty...
The Fort?
Yeah.
Fort Tarsis or
something like that.
Yeah.
You move around pretty slowly, which gets annoying. Hopefully that changes a little bit. But yeah.
Wait, outside your javelin, you like run around?
Yeah, so you go in the world and you're doing your mission and you're in your suit.
Right.
But then you come back to this hub and you're out of your suit. You're in first person and you're walking around and you can go and talk to people. Quest givers.
Why is it first person?
That's what it is.
Just because it's cool, man. You're in your little hub, and
but the game's like normally in third person. Then it just goes first.
I think it's probably to amplify the conversations with people. Some kind of storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because let me put it to you this way, Brad. When you go and you talk to a quest giver, it's not like you're just sitting there or you can move around. Like, it's a very framed cinematic thing where the camera will pan over specifically and do stuff.
I assumed it was going to be like past BioWare games when you talk to people.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, that is Anthem. Do you guys have any questions, concerns, or hopes for Anthem?
I played it at E3 also.
Yeah.
And I just played like 20 minutes. It felt really good. It was fun to fly around and shoot. But I am like, I don't really know anything else about this game. Am I going to be interested enough to keep going? Yeah. Like, will it be fun for a week? Probably. Will I want to keep playing though? I don't know. I don't know enough about it. There's no PvP, right, in this game?
No PvP.
No PvP
yet.
All PvP.
I think that helps, like a case of like Destiny help you, like it gives it legs, you know?
Yeah, it's such a divisive topic of yes or no PvP.
Right. Yeah. If it wasn't fun in that game, and maybe they shouldn't have it. So maybe that's the right call. I just don't know enough about it to be invested. Like numbers going up isn't enough for me right now.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's great.
Yeah, I've been this has been like the game I've been most critical of by far over the last couple years is Anthem. I am really nervous about it, but I'm coming around to it because I feel like it was in this position where it's BioWare, it's AAA, it's huge budget. There's been so much hype around this game. It's been a long time coming. So I think naturally there's just higher expectations than other games because it's BioWare's next big live huge game.
Well, I think there's high expectations because they're making it sound like there should be.
Exactly, So I think that's adding to my criticalness of it. But recently I took a step back and I was like, it doesn't need to be this like all or nothing high stakes thing. If it's really awesome just flying around with your buddies, that is kind of enough for me in one sense. But the reason I really liked that in Destiny was because you're working towards an end game. You're working towards that raid. It's like, they had growing pains with like how you got there and sure, you're repeating a lot of things to raise your power level, but at the end of the day, you get rewarded by being able to do this raid that not a lot of people get to do. It's a special thing. When we did that on stream,
absolutely,
it's one of the best things in gaming, dude. Like, it's an insane statement, but like that camaraderie, like that team effort, not only when you're there, but like even getting to that point is such an accomplishment. It makes it all worth it in the end. Whereas Anthem, I keep hearing that you can do everything in this game It's just a matter of what difficulty you want to do on, and that really terrifies me. That really, really terrifies me, where it's like, cool, you can do the highest level raid, but I'm just going to turn it on easy.
And do it by yourself?
Or like go through, or you know what I mean? It's like, oh, what's stopping me from just like going through everything? You know, it lessens the stakes. It lessens the loot chase, you know? And it's like, the goal of loot is to just crank the difficulty up to make the combat harder, which is cool in a way, because I have heard how many weapon combinations there are in this game. You were talking about low cooldowns, Ben. In the developer came on Twitter and was asking all these questions, and they were really hyping up how many variations and how many combinations you can use and fiddle with, and you can really get in there. And for all those stat lovers out there, the idea of just tweaking this and this and this and having this use this, and just your abilities feeding off each other and just becoming this like powerhouse that can just mow everyone down, like that's exciting. But I like that more when you work up to something. It's like, let me get to that point and now I'm able to do the raid.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't feel like there's any really
goal to work
Yeah,
towards.
there's no true goal, there's no true reward at the end of the day, and that's the biggest fear. But I did take a step back, and I'm in a place now where I'm kind of drowning out the noise and my own pessimism, and it's like, yo, couple weeks with you dudes rolling around, going through the story.
Yeah.
I'll have a blast.
Yes, I think that's true, but I'm worried that it will just feel disposable, and that you never want something to feel disposable.
Yeah,
you want something to excite you, to make you love it, to feel connected to it. And I was thinking, like, what do I want out of these types of games? Like, what do I really care about? And that has been a tough point for Destiny with me, because there are so many things I love about Destiny. Just shooting dudes, just the world looks amazing. There are things I really like about Destiny, but I never really cared.
Yeah.
Like, I would want to, I would like try to pay attention, but I never felt invested in the world the way that I wanted to be. And a lot of people say that's probably my fault, that I didn't watch the right thing or read up on the right thing.
The Grimoire cards.
But just in my own experience with Destiny, I never cared the way that I wanted to. And I thought about games that want me to be around forever, the ones that I do care about, even though I don't actively play them, are World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah. And World of Warcraft, I don't think I would have cared had I not played Warcraft 3 and fallen in love with those characters.
Yeah.
I just don't think I would have, to the same degree. In Final Fantasy XIV, like, that story really got me. When I got through Heaven's Ward, that I felt something. I cared. And even though I'm not playing Final Fantasy XIV, like, I still want to know what happens just because it meant something to me. And that's what I want to feel with Anthem. Like, I think mechanics are enough for, like, a game that you can finish.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, I'm willing and excited even
to
in
go
some
through
instances to play like an RPG where, like, the story isn't great and I don't really care about the characters, but man, that battle system is so good. Because I know in 50 to 80 hours it'll be over.
Yeah.
Whereas Anthem is like, listen, we want you on the hook for as long as possible. And it's like, okay, well then there needs to be a bedrock. There needs to be like something where I'm like, I gotta see what happens to them, like, or
one raid,
place.
man. One raid that, like, you need a certain power level for, something. Like, give me one thing to work towards that not every single player is going to be able to do. It's only, you got to put in some dedication to get to it.
Yeah,
that's all it takes.
But yes, and like the raid in Destiny 2 was cool, but I feel like for me, it would be even cooler if it's like, yes, I'm with my friends. We have to work together. I have to understand this game on a deeper level. Yes, that's super satisfying. But what if it was like, hey, you're also taking down this person that you've grown to hate? Like that's just like, there's so much more to it, right? And so, yeah, I guess just what I'm saying is, with BioWare, I hope there's some level of that. I hope that this world is interesting. I hope this lore is cool.
Yeah, that's another thing. Is like, I was talking about the raid, but it's also, it's like, if the story is awesome, that's enough.
Yeah, because that also kind of circumvents a lack of content. And I'm not saying that it's an excuse or something that should happen. I'm just saying, if I really care about your story and I get to the end and I'm like, oh man, I wish there was more, at least I'm on the hook to find out what happens, right? Versus, I'm just waiting for the numbers to go up more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just hoping for some interesting encounters, like combat-wise. Because when I think about like Monster Hunter, like I didn't care about the story that much. But going through
Yes.
Monster Hunter, it was so much fun because of the
Yes.
different types of monsters you would fight. And like they made getting gear in that game really exciting.
Yes.
Totally.
Like when you get a sick drop, like you're working up to a goal.
Yes.
Yes, and the other effect that has, Brad, is it makes it more tolerable doing that stuff 100 times.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
I think it's scary, dude. It's in that Destiny spot where it's trying to appeal
Well, it's
to too many.
it's it's EA. They're trying to get like as many people in that game as possible.
So I think it's such a divisive thing of not having PvP and being able to do all content on any difficulty. That's cool because like everyone can play it all.
Yeah,
you know,
which is like it's fine. I'm just hoping it's really fun where I want to do all of it all.
Yeah, and I won't be able to give my real thoughts until we
Play it.
party up.
Oh yeah, of course.
totally.
Of course.
I just, again, played very little.
Yeah.
A lot more to uncover.
Yeah.
But just like end of mission fight, there's just some big tanky dudes that just take longer for their health bars to go down.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
I just
I don't know.
I just
don't know.
don't feel in that headspace of playing a game like that where I feel like I really want to play a game like that. It's just probably just bad timing for me. But like I would play just to play with you guys, but like I don't feel like I want to really play something like that right now.
I'm trying to get a stream going.
Of course we'll do one.
All nighter.
I feel completely
All night land sesh.
I feel completely divided on Anthem. On one hand, I feel like it is carrying. I feel like Anthem is carrying an unfair amount of baggage to a certain degree.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
And
you're
for
right.
that, I apologize.
We're
Yes.
like people aren't even really talking about the game itself. They're talking about what they assume the game to be.
You're
And
right.
We're guilty of that in this very conversation
Absolutely.
because it's a natural thing to do. Yeah. But again, I feel one half of me wants to give it a chance.
Yeah.
Thinks that there are some cool things in it, specifically with the mobility and combat. And on the other side, I feel like I've kind of gotten to this point where like I'm not even getting through like there's so many single player games, so many stories that I want to experience in games still to catch up on or experience for the first time or whatever it is. And so when I feel like a game like Anthem comes to me, it's like, okay, if I commit to you or if I for any amount of time, it means I'm giving up so many of the things.
Right.
And it's not quite that dramatic, but there's only so much time in the day,
Yeah,
right?
of
And
course.
so you have to it really has to show you something.
Yeah. Hoping for the best.
I wonder
Hope
how
it's
long
great.
the story will be.
Hope I love it. Yeah.
Because I'm going through the story for sure. That's a
Of
guarantee.
course. You have like going through the story and see if it has legs after that.
Like it's one of those games where I've already made up my mind, even though I'm so critical and
don't-
apprehensive about it.
I don't think
no
it'll be that
matter
long.
what, I will finish the story.
I don't think it'll be that long.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There's music playing right
Yeah.
now.
It's thumping.
I don't know if you can hear it, but it
Hopefully
feels like
not.
it sounds like a party's going on.
Yeah.
And so it kind of feels like we're at a party where we don't know the people very well
Yeah,
and
it's
have
like in the
sequestered
next room.
ourselves to a corner and are like geeking out about Resident Evil and Kingdom Hearts and stuff.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I'm excited
Yeah.
because I know that you will pick like
Who do you think I'm going to pick?
you will pick either the mage class.
That's one of the ones I'm considering.
Yeah,
Yep.
and the like ranger sniper style.
I haven't played either of them yet, but I'm considering either the interceptor, who seems like the very agile,
Nice,
quick
perfect.
one, or the mage. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm just pumped to go in with the bruiser, whatever it is.
I think it's the
Dude,
Colossus. I
Colossus.
believe is
That's
name
the
of
one
that
I was
chapter.
looking at too.
Dude, but bruiser bros.
Because I was like, dude, I want like a big Gatling gun or something with that thing.
Yeah.
I just want to be like a Zaku rolling in, dude. That's what I just want to be.
Zaku
A Zaku
hype.
Like put Gundam skins in the game,
yeah, can I get a
Brad?
plasma? Do they have plasma swords in it?
dude. Give me the
Plasma
plasma
swords?
axe.
Yeah.
I just
Is
played
it
as
just
a ranger.
guns?
I just played as a ranger. I had an assault rifle. I had a shotgun.
How was the shotgun? That's the most important question.
It did sufficient damage.
Okay.
I
had
don't
the
remember
kick
it
feel.
sounding that great.
Oh,
Sound is
would
huge.
need to revisit before giving a final
Yeah,
verdict.
sound is huge.
But didn't
What's the
stick out.
range? Do you need to be point blank? Or
I mean, I got pretty close.
Okay.
But it didn't feel. I don't know. I guess there were times where I was maybe mid-range.
I can't imagine it like being too close for a game where you fly around all the time.
I will say this. Based on my limited experience, the shotgun felt useful in the early goings. I was happy that I equipped the shotgun.
Cool.
Excellent. Okay.
I also equipped a light machine gun, which seemed fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anthem.
I think it was a light machine gun. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a light machine gun.
What a
Anthem. Put Gundam skins in.
so crazy. February, because you have these two insanely high expectation games that have been like a long time coming, Crackdown 3 and Anthem. Mm-hmm. It's just fascinating.
Crackdown.
I'm so interested to see how this all plays out.
Interesting time right now.
You know, I want to see the
How
dust.
things come.
Yeah, I want to see
Yeah.
how the dust settles with these releases.
You're just gonna like watch from the distance.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Anthem. I'm curious enough to give it a shot.
Yeah.
That's where I basically feel
Cool.
right now.
You know who's in? Plessis.
Of course, plus.
Well,
is
that
in.
instantly makes the game about 30% more enjoyable.
That's like
yeah.
this is like a pluses game written
Yeah.
all over it.
He texted me. He's like, "Yo, you playing?"
Did he?
Yeah.
Didn't text me.
But like, I won't be able to do PvP with him, man.
I know.
Doing PvP with him was like the best part.
I know.
to contextualize for the audience who don't know, Plessis is a wonderful human being,
Yes.
and B, just like one of the most fun people to play video games with, because, like, okay. Oh, I'm so sorry, Plessis. So, okay, when you're playing multiplayer
best.
games,
It's
yeah,
the
it is the
best.
best. This is nothing but a
The
positive
Plessis
thing.
effect.
It's
It
the
has a
Plessis
term.
effect.
Yeah.
So you'll be playing video games, and you'll be having like this really nice, polite conversation with him, and then somebody will kill him, and he'll like cut off mid-sentence and go, "Coward!" And then like slip right back into the conversation, and it's the best thing because
the
he's
best.
so invested in it that he'll get angry, he'll get salty, but it's never in like a malicious or cruel or toxic way. It's just hilarious and beautiful.
I will admit, I played a lot more of the original Destiny just because of him.
Oh,
Like,
that's
I
great.
didn't know him. I met him through you, and I just played Destiny with him one time. He asked me if I wanted to play with him. I was like, all right, sure. Then he just made the game more fun. And I was like,
He has that
this
effect.
is fun with you.
Oh, you're clearly cheating.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's
hacker.
the best. It's
I'm like,
so
dude,
good.
no
It
one's
doesn't happen
hacking
enough.
right here. Oh, it's a glitch. It's like,
It's
no, dude.
so good. It's so good.
Yeah, he's
I
the
love
best,
it.
man.
I love it.
Okay.
He
We're
works
just, you know what? We're just
Wait,
gonna
hold on.
make.
Shout outs. He works at Game Informer, right?
He works at
EGM.
He works at
Sorry.
Electronic Gaming.
Shout outs.
Shout out. We're just gonna make Plessis the forbidden word. That's what we're gonna do
Heck yeah,
at this time of the podcast.
I want a Plessis emote.
dude.
Plus effect.
Anytime you're complaining about the game,
Yeah, just
like
Plessis.
like a glitch or something.
Yeah, frame rate.
Plessis emote.
Before we get into Caught in a Frame Trap,
Oh.
I made a mistake
Oh.
that I need to tell you guys in the audience. I just came into this episode realizing that we were going to talk so much about Resident Evil 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3, and then like I had some games I wanted to talk about.
Right.
That I didn't ask. I do this every episode. I was asked the panel what they want to talk about. Just forgot
those.
to do
Yeah,
that.
just
That was
those.
it.
Yeah.
I could just briefly talk about. I've been playing a little of the Blue Mage with Damiani.
Okay.
In Final
We'll-
Fantasy 14. Just briefly. Just
we'll
real
get to
quick.
that.
Just
We'll
real
get to
quick.
that. I'm glad you
Just
brought that
let
up.
you know what it is.
But yeah, I'm sorry to the both of you. I just truly
Dude,
forgot.
there's so much stuff to talk about already. It's fine.
So in honor of Kingdom Hearts 3, I have another real or fake game for us.
Okay.
What better series to do it with than Kingdom Hearts? Are these keyblades real or fake?
Oh,
Are the
no.
names of these keyblades
I don't know
real
any
or fake?
Keyblade
Dude,
names.
there are so don't no. There's so many, and these names are amazing.
Okay.
So that is going to be
Cool.
our
I
little
have
game
no
that
idea
we play.
either, don't worry. I know like 2 Keyblade names.
But before we get in that, we're going to talk about our lovely sponsors.
Oh,
we
okay.
got some new sponsors.
Ooh, spicy.
But our first sponsor, the ever dependable Greg, the Dark Knight Kettering.
Batman.
Thank you, Greg. We also have Zoteg. Hi, allies, with the hype train for Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers pulling out of the station. I wanted to send out an invite to any allies on the Mattias server or greater Aether Data Center to join our free company or cross-world link shell. Search Zoteg up on Twitter at Zoteg, that's Xotig, and send him a message. Whether you're just starting out in Eorzea or have been playing for years, get ready for Shadowbringers together.
That pleases me. That's a really jolly message.
It is. It's a good message. Next, we have JoJo's Dent Co.
Yeah.
Thank you, JoJo's Dent Co. and HOTTAKE. New sponsor, Accounts Payable, and they're doing something that we've never had a sponsor do.
Well,
They just want us to give a shout out to anything, any cause, anything at all that we feel like. So I don't know if you guys want to shout out anything particular.
like a good cause?
Just it could be anything. Let your heart run wild.
Shout out to Gotham for doing, just
There it is.
Yep.
You know what? Sorry. I want to give a shout out to everyone watching right now.
Yeah, dude.
Shout out for just watching us talk about video, like three bozos just talking about video games for hours, man.
Boy, yeah.
Like, shout out. Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, like what? 2 hours into this podcast,
Jeez.
been rambling on.
Yep. This is the Ramblin' Show.
Like, we're talking about Gundam
You could just be named the Ramblin' Show.
during
That's a good
Anthem
name.
and stuff.
Yeah. But thank you to Accounts Payable for that. Next, we have Ohyescoolgreat. Thank you, Ohyescoolgreat. After that, we have Gift of Heaven. Check this out. Gift of Heaven is a full-blast epic RPG that you deserve. It's a free 3DS RPG Maker game created by O.M. Hawkstelter. Gift of Heaven draws inspiration from Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and Forrest Gump. The perfect combination. Hawkstelter strives to use RPG Maker FES's, is it FES or FES? Totally sick pre-made graphics and sound in sneaky ways that will result in a handcrafted Game of the Year 2019 contender. Use the RPG Maker FES 3DS app to download the prologue on August 7th and the full game on Halloween night.
Dude.
Check out YouTube October 1st for a killer all-caps trailer.
Sick. Dude, that was the coolest description of all time.
Yeah, what?
Lord of the
pretty
Rings,
good.
Harry Potter, and Forrest Gump.
Gets you curious.
Dude,
Very
it got me
curious.
super curious.
Very,
That
very
was awesome.
curious.
Our next sponsorship comes in from Colton, who says, I currently work in a manufacturing plant in Texas, and while it pays the bills, it is a bit unfulfilling. My passion is in games media. I became a sponsor to help my side projects grow and hopefully lead to something better. So if you can check out my streams on Twitch, my username is Yoltmane, YOLTMAYNE. Yoltmane also writes and does reviews for a website named IndieRanger.com. Check those out and help me follow my dreams.
Cool.
Thank you, Colton.
Thank you.
Sick.
Last but certainly not least, for the first time in this new studio, we have the Frame Trap mega sponsor. This is actually not true. It's on the Easy A podcast. But it's the first time on Frame Trap
Yeah,
mega
first time Frame
sponsor. Fantasy Critic Games. Fantasy Critic is a new site where video gaming meets fantasy football. Grab your friends, create a league, and face off as you predict what the year's top-rated video games will be. Just like fantasy football, you'll hold a draft and stock your roster with the hottest up-and-coming titles. At the end of the year, the player with the best lineup of games based on review scores courtesy of OpenCritic.com will be crowned the winner. Think you know what games will come out on top? Head to fantasycritic.games now and play for free forever. Yeah. Kyle is actively playing Fantasy
Yeah.
Critic
Kyle,
Games.
Don,
awesome.
and
Ian, I believe.
And Dawn, right?
Kyle,
And Don?
Ian.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, Huber and Brad. Are these keyblades real or fake?
Let's go.
Fatal Crest.
Fake.
Real Kingdom Hearts 2.
I need to see pictures of them.
Yeah, it's hard just going on the name.
Fatal
but it's also
Crest.
beautiful. Oh, it gets better. It gets better. Real, that's in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Okay.
Next one, Skull Noise.
Real?
Real.
Real Dream Drop Distance.
Yes, I knew it. It was The World Ends With You Keyblade.
I'm going to give it to both of you. Next, we've got Digital Demon.
Fake.
Correct.
Digital Demon.
I liked that. I tried my best.
No. It's just a funny, it could be real. It's just a hilarious name.
All right. Number 4, Ominous Blight.
Fake.
Real.
It's real.
Whoa, what is it?
Huber, what game is it from?
Ominous Blight.
Chain of Memories.
358 Days Over 2.
Oh,
Hey, man. I'm just guessing over here.
same. Pretty much same.
All right. Last one. Huber's ahead. Candy Slash.
Fake.
Real.
It's fake.
Ah, I thought it was the candy cane one.
Candy Slash, dude. What?
Candy, dude, because it could be the candy cane keyblade.
Any of these could be real. So many of them are. Most of them
Huber,
are.
you've unlocked a keyblade now. You are now a keyblade master.
All right, Huber. Break us out of this game.
Yeah. It's the only way to do it.
Huber, I was hoping that you were... when I made this game, I was hoping that the person who won did this. So now did we, did we secure the studio? Is that what we did?
Yeah, we unlocked its heart.
Closed it in.
All right.
Secured.
Area secure.
Area secure. All right. Brad,
Yes.
talk to me about being a blue mage in
Oh,
Final
okay.
Fantasy 14.
So,
I'm actually really curious about
Blue
this.
Mage,
Yeah.
super okay. As you know, Final Fantasy XIV has many jobs that have been past Final Fantasy games, like Red Mage, Dark Knight, Samurai, what have you. They all usually roll or incorporate into playing with other people, like what MMOs you do, going up in dungeons with everyone. Blue Mage is a little different. Blue Mage is pretty much a solo job, I would say, that you do by yourself, or you could only team up with other blue mages.
Whoa.
So how it works is the blue mages, if you didn't know in Final Fantasy history, usually their skill is learning enemy abilities. So what blue mage, you go out in the world, you fight regular monsters, and you actually learn abilities from them.
Dude.
So me and Damian have been rolling around together, going through the world, like fighting enemies. You wait for them to do an attack, then you learn that attack from them. Like we learned 10,000 or 1,000 needles, I think, from a cactuar,
Sick.
which is super awesome. There's even some funnier ones. There's like a self-destruct one you can do. It just does a ton of damage, but you die.
Do you
from
learn
doing
it straight away, or do you have to do it a couple
So
times?
I don't know if there's a percentage chance, but you have to see the enemy do it. You don't learn abilities from every single enemy.
Got it.
The game, you have like a blue mage book that gives you hints of where you can get abilities from.
Dude.
So you go out in the world, you find that mob, and you kind of learn ability from it. And there's this thing called the Masked Carnival, which is like PvE content. I believe it's level 50. I'm not all the way there yet. So it's like challenges, doing challenges solo by yourself and getting through these challenges, which is kind of like a weird thing you don't really hear in MMOs, introducing a new class that's kind of just on its own kind of thing that's not incorporated in the rest of the game.
Sounds fun.
Because, as you know, or the level cap of the game currently is 70, but this only goes up to 50. So you can't do all the content. But I've been having a fun time going through the world with Damiani, finding out what gives you abilities, just experimenting like that. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of cool abilities, man, like using your tongue, a tongue to bring people to you.
Dude.
Water cannon, a lot of the classic moves, Ben.
Brad, you have to stop.
It's really cool.
This sounds like a great,
It's been really
thoughtful implementation.
Yeah,
of this
and
class,
I think
this job.
the gear works different. It's not as important, so you could start off with just normal gear. The gear I'm wearing is just mostly for show right now, but it doesn't really affect it as far as I'm understanding. But super easy to get into, super fun. It has its own story plot line going through.
When is Shadowbringers?
Summer probably June, July.
I don't have time for Final Fantasy 14, but
Right.
I miss it, man.
So
I
here's
miss
the
it.
goal, man. This is what I'm going to do: is to go back a month or two before the expansion comes out,
Yeah.
and do the content to get caught up for the story.
So question,
Yes.
speaking of story, part of the fun of Final Fantasy 14 is interacting with job-specific characters
Yes.
and doing the job-specific storyline.
Yes.
That's usually fun and interesting to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
How is that with Blue Mage?
I've enjoyed it. I like the story that I've done. I haven't been paying so much attention to it because I've been playing on stream with Damiani.
Sure.
And sometimes I
It
just
is
kind of
hard
got
to
to
pay
go through
attention
that.
to things on stream.
But
yes.
yeah, it's cool. They're incorporating enemies and stuff like that, learning abilities from people and stuff.
Is it pretty lighthearted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of those stories are pretty lighthearted.
Man, we talk about vibes a lot.
Good
with
vibes.
Video games.
Really good
Final Fantasy
vibes.
14 has incredible vibes.
Yes, very incredible vibes. Great music, all that stuff. But it's been interesting because it hasn't been the usual level up, doing quests all
Yeah.
the time, a bunch of quests and doing a dungeon. It's just kind of no, you just go out in the world mostly and you fight normal monsters. But you can learn abilities from the primals, like the summons in the game and stuff like that. I haven't done any of that yet.
So do you learn? Okay, You just learn their specific attacks.
Yeah, so like you could learn ability from Shiva. I think it's Diamond Dust you learn from her.
Dust
That would make
type.
sense.
So, but I haven't done any of that yet, but the potential is there for some really cool abilities.
So have you just been playing when you and Damiani stream?
Right now, yes.
Has that been good, bad? What is the
It's been
experience
great.
of like doing
It's
it
been
on
really
stream?
fun just playing with Damiani. I mean, playing MMO with friends is always the best. Like,
Yeah.
playing by yourself is not as fun to me, but I've been playing with Damiani, who knows everything to that game pretty much.
Right.
So he's been kind of guiding me along. So it's been a lot of fun.
The reason I ask is because I've been playing Tales of Vesperia on stream, which
Right.
I've enjoyed, and I've enjoyed interacting with chat. They've been very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also times where I'm like, oh, I just want to play, you
Yeah,
know,
of course.
on the go or something,
Right.
which is not anybody's fault. It's just
Right.
like, oh, I'm enjoying this so much.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you had any of those.
No, not
pangs.
really, because Damiani's usually the one helming it. I'm just kind of there on audio mostly. I'm not on camera, so Damiani's in control of the stream, I would say. But it's just been pretty stress free. I've been having a good time every time I play it with Damiani.
Cool.
So I mean, I love being in that world. I know you love that world too.
Yes,
it's great,
yes.
great vibes.
Yeah, I feel estranged from it.
Yeah,
Like,
but
it's been too long.
they just introduced this class in a patch.
Yeah.
So rad.
Yeah, it's just awesome.
Yeah, this is
Because
something I
Samurai
want to talk
was
about later.
Ninja they introduced in a patch too.
okay.
Samurai and
DLC.
Red Mage was the expansion.
Expansion. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Brad, you made a strong case for it. I
Like-
should just put up or shut up and like try to find time.
But like you would find a lot of appreciation out of it because
Shadowbringers.
you know a lot about Final Fantasy, like
Yeah.
the lore and like
Yeah.
the abilities and stuff like that. So you'd be like, oh, cool, this ability from this enemy I recognize.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a sucker for that stuff. And Blue Mage is just conceptually.
Yeah, it's just
cool.
like a cool job. Yeah, it's just something really
And they look
different in
cool.
that game.
Nice. A game I want to talk about that I've just started. I've been devoting a lot of time to Kingdom Hearts 3, admittedly, but I've gotten started on a cool little indie game that I think so far seems very much worth your time.
Wargroove.
Wargroove.
Yes.
You knew. How did you know?
Because it's a cool little indie game that
Yeah.
just came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kristen just asked you about it today, right?
She did just ask me about it. And like I said, I've just gotten started. I'm still in the first act of the game. It's still teaching me things.
Not sure.
But yeah, this seems great. So obviously, right when they announced it, they were making a ton of comparisons to Advance Wars. I don't think I realized until I played it how Advance Wars it is. I mean, it is.
Yeah, I saw that screen. I was like, oh, this looks exactly like Advance
Yeah,
Wars.
just in terms of presentation, both like how you battle things and the animations that play and the perspective that they give you, and even just the way the map looks to a degree, like everything feels like Advance Wars, but the mechanics, if you've played Advance Wars, a lot of the mechanics from there will immediately feel at home here. But it is a very well-designed and thoughtful game, and what I mean by that is it is giving you a fair amount of complexity. You have to worry about a fog of war. You have to worry about healing injured units. You have to worry about terrain defenses and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's a good amount going on, but the way that it teaches you is you're going through these missions where it will introduce a couple of mechanics at a time, but it's not just like, oh, hey, it doesn't matter, tutorial missions. It's like, no, we're going to make this the beginning of the story. We're going to put you at threat right away. We're going to introduce a little bit of lore and characters right away. And so I feel like it does a great job of engaging you immediately. Oh. And what I love about it is there's no like big lead up. It's not like long ago in this kingdom, this and this was happening. Before a mission, you just get a little bit. It takes like, I don't know, a minute or something like that. It's just a very short amount of time. Just enough to kind of give you a sense of what's going on and contextualize this battle. Then you do the battle. And the battle itself is interesting because you're learning, but it's not like it's a breeze. I've felt like, yes, it's showing me something. It's telling me how to do something. It's putting an X on the map. But then it's just like letting me go and do it and learning through failure and just practical application. And so there are times where I'm like, oh, I got surrounded because I was an idiot, or oh, that mistake really did cost me. And so they feel like actual fights, even though you're going through a tutorial. And I think that's really cool. Also, it has a great look. I mean, it does the Advance Wars thing where when you're fighting, like if you are on the losing end of that battle, and that damage transaction, your character will be upset, or when you're winning, they'll be exuberant. And so that's really, really cool.
I saw dogs too.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah, the dogs are great. So you have all of these different units, and all the units can do critical strikes, but you have to set it up a certain way. But things can hit you so hard, and the critical strikes are so good that you really need to constantly make that effort. So with the dogs, you'll get a critical strike if another dog is also adjacent to an enemy. Mm-hmm. And so, but then you have things like the archer will get a critical strike if they don't have to move to attack, if they just attack from where they are, or the pikemen, if they're next to each other, they'll get a critical strike when they attack. And so you kind of, not only need to worry about this unit is weak, or this unit is strong, or this, is a good area of defense. Mm-hmm. You also have to be like, okay, I need to arrange my characters in a specific way.
Yeah,
so
positioning,
I can yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's very cool, and it's very satisfying to pull off. So
this game looks cool. It's cheap too, right? I think it's $20.
Brad, gotta be honest with you, I got a code for it, so I don't know
well, $20,
how expensive it is. So it's definitely a must be.
It seems like a great game to play on the go too.
Yeah. It seems like a great game to fill that void of Advance Wars. Just being gone for so long.
Yeah, it does feel very, very similar to Advance Wars, for sure. The question that Kristen asked, and I think a good thing to relay, is she was like, "Hey, as a strategy game, does it control okay on the Switch?"
Oh, sure,
absolutely does. It feels like it was designed
great
from the go to make sense on a controller. So cool. I have had absolutely no problems with that. So if you played Advance Wars, or even something like Fire Emblem, where it is very much a consoleized or handheld-ized strategy experience, it works super well.
I want to play it. It looks hype.
Yeah, it is. It is. It definitely seems like it is going to be challenging. You can lower different aspects of the difficulty. So, it is approachable in that sense, but it definitely feels like it's going to push back in a cool and satisfying way, much like Advance Wars does. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I have a ton more to play, just getting started. But yeah, I want to come back to it.
Nice.
It's tough. They're so much got left by the wayside for Kingdom Hearts and Resident Evil, man. I've played more Ace Combat 7.
Oh.
I haven't finished Ace Combat 7 yet.
Yeah,
but that seems really great too, and I just want to keep going.
I was like, Damiani, dude, bring me it. I want to play it.
Did you play the VR part?
I've not done the VR yet. No.
That's what I want to try.
I believe I'm on Mission 8 for Ace Combat 7. Missions got a lot harder very quickly. Definitely, there was one, and maybe it's just because I suck at Ace Combat, but there was definitely a mission where it's like, okay, here are all these things you need to destroy. Here's segments of different bases. You have to get up to this number before the time runs out. It was like, I got to learn to be efficient. I can't just casually shoot away at planes or things. It's like, no, I have to target and move and dodge well. But in a way that was kind of exciting. I mean, I had to do it multiple times, but it felt really good because each time you felt yourself getting a little bit better.
Sweet.
I haven't played Ace Combat since PS2.
I know, dude. You used to be so into those all the time.
So I'm really excited to hop into 7. After, of course, Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, right. That's the thing is you have these juggernauts. You feel like, I want to play them so bad. Yeah, I think on the PS1 I played an Ace Combat demo, and I think maybe on the PS2 or something. But yeah, it was basically just Ace Combat demos. It seemed cool.
I'm bummed I fell out with the lore because I hear 7 is a continuation.
You were telling me that Ace Combat 5 has a really cool story.
It was either 4 or 5. I always get them confused because they're both on PS2. One of them had really, really sick drawn anime style cutscenes.
Cool.
I remember just being surprisingly so invested in the story.
Yeah. Dude, Ace Combat 7's story is really enjoyable. I don't know if I would say it's good.
Yeah.
But it's pretty
having
funny.
Fun with it.
So, Hubert, I gotta show this to you, and I've experienced the cutscene for myself now. But in one of the cutscenes, there's this lady getting off this plane, and there's a dog at the bottom of these steps. And they just used a JPEG for the dog. But in the first shot of it, it's a different flat image. And so it's I think it's a different, I gotta find the video. I hope I'm getting this right.
Did it come with...
But it's just really funny.
Did it come with 5 remastered, or is that a separate code, or what is the deal there? Because I heard
this 6?
This is 7, but I heard it
So
comes
I
with.
pre-ordered Ace Combat 7 on the PlayStation Store and got Ace Combat 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
I heard the emulation on that is amazing. Really want to go through 5 again too, dude.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. I'm gonna
Dude,
live on air. I'm gonna watch
a jet game
this
since
video.
Top Gun on PS1.
Dude, it's time, Brad.
It's been a long time now.
It's a good one to hop back into,
Yeah.
you know? Once
Yeah.
I'm done with the copy, because
Okay.
we got one.
So okay, Brad, just look at this. Okay. So she's getting off the plane. This makes for great podcasting.
Yes.
See that dog?
Yes.
Now wait for it.
What?
It's a different,
It's a different
dog.
dog.
It's a
dog.
completely different dog.
That's so good. It is just, it just like,
Motionless.
it's motionless, lifeless.
Yeah.
It's like they forgot to add it in the shot or something.
Just Photoshop the dog in.
Yeah.
You know, for those of you listening, because it's a terrible thing to do in a podcast, I
Yeah.
will include a YouTube
should.
link. So
That's
you can see
so
it.
good, dude. That's so funny.
It's funny.
Yeah, so it's enjoyable in that way.
Yeah.
I think.
That's super funny.
How is the economy / accumulating new ships, new weapons? Because that's always so fun in those games.
Yeah.
Just like
So you're on this.
outfitting
I talked about it the last time I brought up Ace Combat 7, but I've gotten a little bit farther into it, so I have a little bit better sense of what it's like. It seems pretty straightforward, not necessarily in a bad way, but you're in this tree, and so obviously at the bottom of the tree you have the fewest choices, but as you go through, you can be like, okay, well, I want to lock one of these 3 planes because that's all I have money for.
Got it.
So I've never hit a point where it's like, oh, I can just easily get everything, and so you do have to make choices. But so far, I've always been limited by money enough where it's like, well, I can only pick one. And then you pick that new plane, and then you pick a weapon. That's the other thing. So you can buy upgrades for your plane, which you can install. You can only have a certain number of parts that you can install in your plane that will affect various aspects of it. But you also get different weapons. And that's probably the most interesting part so far, is the special weapons that you bring in, because in missions, you'll have to deal with things on the ground and things in the air.
Yeah.
And different special weapons will be better at one thing or the other. And a lot of times you want to do both. And so it's kind of an interesting trade-off, and you have to decide where your focus wants to be. Also, ammo can be a big deal. So for some of these special weapons, you can burn through them really, really quickly if you're not careful. And that means you might have to go and restock mid-mission, which if you're on a time-based mission, like the one I mentioned earlier, that obviously takes up some time. And so, there's some interesting decisions going on. It's not like, okay, I need to sit here for 10 minutes to figure it all out. But, you have to think about it a little bit.
Can you customize your decals and stuff? Or is it like you unlock cosmetic options and you just like slap them on?
That's a good question. I haven't messed around with any like purely cosmetic stuff, just different planes so far. Cool. I'm not saying that's not in the game, but I just personally haven't done it.
Cool.
But yeah, I should probably we talked enough about Ace Combat 7. That's probably a timestamp, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
Stamp it.
Stamp it.
Stamp it. Pop it.
No double stamp, triple stamp.
Double stamp, triple stamp.
Let's stamp it. You know what else we need to stamp?
HOTTAKE?
Brad, you can't do that.
I just did it, baby. Studio.
Unhinged, dude.
That's
Studio
right.
budget.
It's bumping down there. It's like really hot in here now.
Yeah.
HOTTAKE.
HOTTAKE.
HOTTAKE!
Stole the
See, no one could do that, though.
HOTTAKE!
Do it again.
Triple.
HOTTAKE.
Quadruple.
There you go.
Hey.
New studio, dude. We're getting 4 of them.
I just want Ben to actually chop the desk as hard as he can one time.
I want someone to jump off those rafters.
What do you mean? There's no room.
You couldn't fit anybody up there.
Like, hang or something.
What
Someone's
I want-
got to jump it all.
Huber, where are you going to break the studio?
We should just get like a really cheap table, Huber, and have someone go through the table.
Yes.
Like, would you go through the table?
100%.
Okay. That'd be sick.
I want to tell me I need a power bomb
We need-
through the table.
That'd be
We
sick.
need Brandon or Blower here to like just shake their heads no. So for today's HOTTAKE, we actually kind of alluded to it during the Final Fantasy XIV part, but it's a problem. Maybe it's just a me thing, but I think it's an everybody thing, where sometimes keeping up with games can be a little stressful and a little bit anxiety building.
Oh,
Where,
yeah.
like, Fortnite is a good example. Where you love Fortnite, you want to play Fortnite, you want to keep with Fortnite. Like, that's something you have to keep doing. I don't want to sit here and say that, like, playing games is hard. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not asking...
Because you can just hop back in. It's always there.
Right.
It's that game.
Not asking for sympathy, but even things like, oh, man, I really want to play Final Fantasy XIV, or man, I want to do this new event in Monster Hunter, but I also want to catch up before this new sequel comes out, or whatever. There's
always something to do.
Or I want to platinum. Like, yes. Games are expanding in such a way where there is never a time where I feel like you can be like, I don't have anything to play.
I just want to catch up on anime, man.
Or, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But, with the release of Anthem, we've got the Division 2 coming out. Games as a service are becoming increasingly prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have things before that, like MOBAs or just digital card games or something that kind of always demands your attention. That is not going to be going away. And I don't really want to talk about how you feel about that as a concept, but as we move forward and as those things keep happening, how do you feel like you are going to tackle them? How are you going to fit that stuff into your life?
I've come to terms, man.
What is the term that you've come to?
The terms are that sometimes you're going to have to skip something. Some casualty is going to happen. Mm-hmm. It is a borderline impossible to consume everything you want to consume. And I bring up anime because I think it's all encompassing, right? I want to watch The Punisher Season 2. I want to watch My Hero Academia and Dragon Ball Super. Captain Marvel's coming up. I want to rewatch the MCU. I got to get through Kingdom Hearts 3. I also got a review coming up for Far Cry. It's like, I've come to terms where you can only do what you can do. And I try to live in the moment of play what calls me at that time. Absolutely.
Play what you want to play has long been an Easy Allies motto. But you bring up anime, and it's very easy to get behind an anime or feel overwhelmed in anime. I feel like that constantly. But with anime, it's like, okay, this is a very linear thing where there are probably counterexamples to this, but it's not like, oh, there's only a limited amount of time for me to get this one really cool sword, or to see this crossover event, or to get this double XP bonus. Sure. There is this sense that games are really pushing you to be here just for one day only or 2 days only. Yeah. And that's going to keep happening. Does that bother you at all, or does that make you anxious, or does that change how you fit things into your life?
I very much love the idea of the people that are playing getting rewarded. So I've fallen out of Fortnite in recent months. I've been playing a lot less. Haven't been keeping up with the challenges. Haven't been getting the sick Battle Pass skins. This one this month is like a Kratos Thanos rock monster lava dude that you get. Yeah, he looks awesome. I have no hope of getting him. No hope. There's no way. If I were to go home now and play non-stop until the end of the season, I still don't think I would get it because I fell behind on the daily quests. Cool. Like, now when I see that, like, I'm jealous. My friends have a skin from last season that I won't get because I missed it. And it's like, dude, I'm jealous. It's awesome. But, like, you guys earned it. I didn't. I love that. So I've kind of come to terms with I don't have anxiety because I'm not getting it. I spin it where you got it, good on you. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting because I feel like my experience with some games has been like, I feel almost guilty where I miss an event or I come back and the game doesn't feel the same. And you just, I don't know, it's almost... alienating might be too strong of a word, but you just don't feel familiar, and so it becomes intimidating in a new way. Whereas like Final Fantasy XIV is a great example where so much has changed, and it's not that I can't get back into it. It just feels like there's this wall there where a single player game, if I come back to it, it's not like it's suddenly different. I'm just where I was. Yeah. And that can be very strange, and I also think it can be a problem when everything becomes this, right?
Yeah.
Because if everything becomes this, then it's like, well, I want to be into all of these things, but I can only do so much in all of them because they're all a commitment.
Yeah, I feel like for us especially, because we love like every game
Probably
between
too
us,
many.
like
Yeah.
we love.
That's the heart of the problem.
Yeah, I feel like for us, our lifestyles can only afford one, maybe two at most of these types of games.
Right.
So it's just a matter of choosing it. You know, like Anthem's coming out, and it's like, all right, is this going to take over my live game? Like, if my friends get into this, like, is this
Right.
the one I'm going to be playing instead of Fortnite now? But, you know, I bring up Fortnite because I think it's easy to leave and come back versus an MMO. Like World of Warcraft I stopped playing, dude, and it's like, all right, what are my rotations?
Right.
Where did
well,
I
it's
leave
just-
off?
There's more. Fortnite's like build, shoot.
Yeah,
You're
build,
good.
shoot. It's like, okay, there's some new guns and stuff,
Yeah.
but like,
The
it's
core like mechanic, I would say, is the same.
the same. Yeah. So I think it depends on the game, but I totally see where you're coming from with the anxiety of like, dude, leaving a game for a little bit and then coming back and having to relearn it.
Yeah.
Because like we only have so much time. It's like that wall of coming back and relearning is intimidating
Sure.
and time consuming.
I actually think beyond maybe even a better example than these big live continual games like Fortnite or an MMO, I actually feel this probably most acutely with mobile games because there are a lot of mobile games I want to play and am interested in and check up on from time to time, like Fire Emblem Heroes is a good example. I was dabbling with some Grand Blue Fantasy over the break. That
Nice.
Star Ocean mobile game came out.
Wait, what?
Dragalia Lost. And like Dragalia...
Mobile.
What? I never even heard
Yeah,
of this.
yeah.
No.
So, all of these things just have a bonus for logging in, and it almost feels like I need to check my email. And I of course, they do that so they can keep their players, so they can keep you engaged.
Yep.
But it's just like, oh man, I either care about all these different series, or this is coming from a developer that I care about, and suddenly now I'm on the hook. And none of these things individually take that long of a time. You could easily make a counter argument and be like, hey, you play for 30 minutes a day and you're done. And it's like, well, yeah, but then there's this thing
Still gotta.
where it's like, oh, I heard in Dragalia Lost that like the story is just the tutorial, so you need to get through the story so you can get to more interesting combat. And it's just like, okay, that's on top of making sure I do all my daily quests, which change every day.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I mean. And this is probably, like you said, a problem that is hyper specific to me because I want to play everything.
Right.
But it's just, as we march forward, this is a feeling that has only increased, right?
Yeah.
Where not only do I think there are going to be more of these types of games, but I see it being integrated in other ways
In
where it's
everything.
like, yeah, like I'm like,
Dude. Assassin's Creed Odyssey became this. Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh yeah. It has like
keeps-
weekly quests and daily quests.
right.
Yeah, it has the Lost Tales of Greece, which it keeps adding, which I've been doing. I've been like keeping up on these because I really enjoy that game. But still, even Assassin's Creed Odyssey, this traditionally single-player game, beat it, whether you want 100% it or not, beat it, you're done. Now it's like, dude, I've had this game on my PS. Like, dude, what my main dopamine is getting to the end credits of a game and deleting it off my hard drive. That is
Yeah.
my number one dopamine.
But that's your
now-
number one?
Yeah, for games, yeah, beating a game is it.
Okay.
That's the
Oh, yeah,
best.
beating him. But
Beating
I
it,
just a simple
delete.
act of deleting.
The combination of it. It's
Yeah,
like, dude,
the
I
combo.
beat it, deleted,
1-2
done.
punch.
Add it to the list
Beat it
of
and
games I
delete it.
beat. Yeah.
Oh, you have a running list.
Yeah.
I should do that.
Oh, yeah, I started doing that too. It's really fun.
Yeah.
It's good to.
It's just
reference.
cool. Yeah.
It's
see all
good to
your
see the
games.
numbers go up.
Exactly.
You see the list go up.
But yeah, Assassin's Creed, that came out in October. Here we are in February. That's still going. That game is
Yeah.
still getting some of my time,
so
you know?
much stuff in that game.
So it's like, yeah, it is kind of scary that's a trend of all these games that are like, hey, come on back.
I will say I feel like I'm different than you two in that regard. Is like I'm way okay with letting stuff go.
Yeah.
I'm just fine with it. Like whatever, it's okay. it's not that big of a deal. Like, there's a ton of games I still want to play. Like, I want to play all the Trails series and all that stuff like that, but it's like, I don't know when I'll get to it.
Wouldn't that be nice?
But, I'll get there one day, maybe.
Brad, I sent out fan mail and I was like, all right, these are like my soft gaming goals of 2019.
Nice.
Because I finished the first Trails in the Sky and it was lovely.
Yeah.
I would love, my goal, but hopefully, I don't even know if it will happen, but I would love to just finish Trails in the Sky, SC, the
like
third, Cold Steel 1 and Cold Steel 2, and then Cold Steel 3 is coming out this fall.
Like, Disgaea 5 is on my backlog in my mind of a game I'd still want to play, but it's like, who the hell knows when I'm going to get to that game? Right. But if I don't get to it, I'm like...
you got Resident Evil 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out
it's like, I'm okay with it if I'm just enjoying what I'm doing right now.
Exactly. That's where I'm coming from, too, is Valkyria Chronicles, game I want to play. 4 just came out. Sucks I wasn't there for it. I'm in the mindset now of, like, staying caught up with current games as they come. You know, Resident Evil comes out, be caught up on that. Like, Kingdom Hearts 3, okay, it's Kingdom Hearts time. It's like, I have my huge backlog, but, like, they're in the backlog now anyway. So it's just like, as they come, you kind of try to just get them.
I just try to do my best and play what I can, but play what I enjoy, too. Like, it's important for us to play stuff for work, too.
Right.
But, like, at the same time, I don't want to be miserable playing something I hate.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of playing, or playing something I don't enjoy.
Do you think, however, that beyond just you dealing with it, do you think games requiring a more constant commitment will be a negative or positive thing?
I think that's just the thing that's going to keep happening as we keep going in gaming. Like, that's just the way things are trending right now. It's just people want you playing their game. They want you checking in every day. They want you a part of their game for so long. They want you to play their game for years. Like Destiny, like, they want you to keep playing it. Like, Anthem's going to be the same way. They're going to have their whole release schedule. They want you to play through this when this is coming, so we want you to do this and this.
Which, it's time-consuming, but at the same time, part of me loves it.
Yeah, like, it's just like, do you like doing that? Like, I don't really like doing it that much.
I love...
If I can, it's only for one game. I can only do one at a time, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine, like, you playing all these, like, mobile games and, like, just stuff like that, doing your little dailies and stuff. Like, I can't do that.
Well, it's just, like, talking about Anthem is interesting, right? Because you don't want to be reductive and just be like, oh, it's just copying Destiny. Like, you want to give it more of a chance to grow and breathe. But the way that I feel going into Anthem is super influenced by my time with Destiny. The way that it is taking place in my mind is because of Destiny, a game that, you know, I feel like I didn't spend the most time with. I would never say I was a dedicated Destiny player, but I spent enough time with it that it really felt like a big part of my gaming life this generation.
Absolutely.
And so the way that I feel about that, both good and bad, is influencing Anthem. And, like, I don't want to say I am burned out. That is not quite where I'm at, but it doesn't feel like a new thing anymore, right? It doesn't feel special. When I download a new mobile game, it doesn't really feel special anymore opening these packs or boxes or whatever they are, because it's like, we just keep doing this again and again and again. This can't be exciting getting a rare thing in the 100th game.
Right.
And so I think that's the other side of this conversation is, do we eventually just lead to burnout when every reward is structured or every, like, keep you on the hook method feels so similar?
It just totally depends on the game, right? So Fortnite, at this point, I have too many skins. It's too much. You open up your skin thing and there's just 100, and it's so many that I get like, what am I gonna pick? It's just too many that none of them are good because there's just too many of them now. You know? It's like, why do I even need a new one when I have 100 now? Versus, on the other side, I do love some, like, loot-based stuff like Destiny or even Anthem. I love the idea of getting a sick reward that's gonna last me for years, right? Like Destiny 2, doing your exotic weapon quest and getting the last wish or whatever, you know, with the rocket launcher, some like crazy weapon.
Right.
Like, that's in your inventory now, and because it's a live service game, it's going to be useful for a very long time. So I think that's fun.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
it's like
cool.
that accumulation
you're
that
saying-
matters.
So you're saying it comes down to how each individual game makes it feel valuable.
Yeah. And like by chasing loot in Destiny, like having the loot you earn matter, like when you do a raid and you get, you know, that raid rocket launcher, that's amazing. Like that is so cool in Destiny. People have their bank inventory just with so many different kinds of guns and weapons because, you know, chances are a month down the line, 2 months down the line, it's like, oh, dude, this is actually useful now
patched.
for this specific encounter in this strike or this raid. Like that's cool. And that's I think, a really cool spot with live service ongoing things. I mean, case in point, MMOs, it's like my cataclysmic gladiator axe, Brad, that I got in Cataclysm is mine forever, and I can just transmog any axe I get. So it's like, dude, I still have this axe, you know? So it just all depends.
Do you ever worry about it from like a game conversation or game coverage perspective? And what I mean by that is it would get annoying once I played more Muso Dynasty Warriors like games for people to say, oh, they're all the same. When it's like, yeah, like that's something you can be critical about, but it's not quite that simple. Or when people say like, you know, all JRPGs are the same. Well, it's like, no, that's clearly not true. Like that's just you simplifying it. Sometimes these things become dominant points of conversation that it kind of shifts us away from what is actually going on. And you see that with microtransactions as well. And, you know, people saying like all microtransactions are bad or, oh, it's never as bad as people say it is. Just these hard generalizations.
Blanket statements about it.
You know, we talked about like the baggage Anthem has going into it. Do you think from a game conversation standpoint, that is something that will improve at all, or do we need to change how we look at things?
I mean, I think like battle royales, right? People are like already sick of them. Like there's definitely a camp that's like, oh my God, does everything need to be a battle royale?
Right.
But I feel like as time goes on, that annoyance will wane and it'll just become part of gaming, you know? It's a genre.
It's exactly what's happened with MOBAs, right?
That's
Because
what I was thinking of,
you used to hear everybody complain about MOBAs.
Now when a MOBA comes out, people are just like, whatever.
Right. It's not like they went away. It's just we had that cycle of hype, saturation, annoyance, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like when battle royales eventually come out, people are just, they're either into it or they're not, and they hopefully won't complain about it because they've already complained.
Sure. So you have made peace with just backlogs.
You have to. You've got to make peace.
Show me the way,
because
man.
I watch
Show
so
me the
many
way.
shows too, Ben. Like that's so time consuming. Like Kingdom Hearts came out, but like I was tired. I had some Punisher to watch. I threw some Punisher on. It's like, dude, there's so much stuff. It's too much.
Hubert, I feel like I pretty much just focus on games. That's not totally true. And there's too much, man.
Yeah,
There's
there's
just
too much.
There's
There
way
just
too
always
much.
is, and kind of have to accept that.
Like the fact that I've not seen a single episode of Dragon Ball Super. If you told me
it's
that,
crazy.
if you told me that 10 years ago, I would laugh in your face. Be like, yeah, right. No way. Like I'll be caught up day and date. Dragon Ball, dude. Hype.
Super is a very fun time.
I know.
But you watch Boruto.
You do?
I do because I'm already caught up.
I don't
you
know anyone
so,
who does.
So it's like when you're caught up, right? Like I actually
easy.
watched an episode the other day because I hadn't watched any in months, and it's like, oh, you're only like 9 back.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, watch like 3 right now. Boom, I'm like almost caught back up.
Yeah.
Like once you're caught up on anime, it's such a good feeling because it's really hard to fall
caught
behind, you know, because it's like only one 20-minute episode a week.
Yeah.
So anime's great.
I feel like if we could,
Anime's great.
I feel like if we could fuse all of the allies into one person, we would be an almost perfect content consumer.
Yeah, all of it.
All right. Well, thanks for
I've actually looked up
humoring me.
to, sorry to cut you off. I've actually looked up to Brad in this. Brad helped me with managing. Because
Yeah.
Brad for a while was and still is, very hard line with, like, I don't have time for that. Sorry. Like coming to you all the time with random games. Like, yo, let's co-op this. Like, I don't got time for that.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I got other stuff to do.
So it's just like over the years.
See, that's the exact opposite of my response. When you come to me, it's like, dude, and you're like, oh, you're right, I gotta do that. That's how I feel every time. Yeah. Just hands on head, sink into despair.
I need a cut job.
Yeah, you both are very similar in that regard.
Yeah.
And Brad's like, no, man, I'm doing this right now.
I don't have time.
And it's like, all right.
Yeah, because you're like, let's play Army of Two. I'm like, no, dude. Like, no, I'm cool, man.
Let's play Kane and Lynch, man.
Yeah, let's play Kane. We gotta do this. Oh, that was sucked, man.
Oh, Kane and Lynch.
Just out of nowhere, too. Probably by nothing. Yeah.
So you're like, dude, Kane and Lynch co-op, local co-op.
You're pulling heist.
You're pulling heist. It's always pulling heist with everything with you.
If you're doing a heist, you got me.
Yeah.
I'm in.
You guys ready for some emails?
Yes.
Yeah. Yo, are those franchises gone? You think they'll come back?
Kane and Lynch never coming back.
Or Army of Two?
No, I think that's dead. That whole era was like the online co-op era.
Yeah.
We sacrificed Kane and Lynch for great ass Hitman games.
Yes.
I'm good.
Yes.
I'm good.
Yes.
Our first email comes in from Joe with the subject, back in the game. Hey, Ellis, back in the fall, I picked up Dragon Quest XI. I eventually finished the story and started the post-game. Only
Watch out for spoilers.
I got you.
All right, 70 hours in here.
I got you.
All right.
Only to hit a wall. Turns out the post-game content is significantly harder than the story content with
God,
a
I'm
huge
screwed.
difficulty spike
Oh,
that left my
shit.
party severely underleveled in what had, to that point, been a pretty easy game. I
I'm
ultimately decided
screwed.
that I didn't want to grind out the rest of the game, and so I moved on. See, not spoilery.
Okay, good thing he's not doing Draconic.
Recently, I picked up Dragon Quest XI again, leveled up my party, and fell back in love with it. See, there's hope here.
Nice.
Light and darkness, you need them in equal measure. I'm probably 5 or so hours away from the Platinum Trophy at this point, and I'm enjoying the post-game content significantly more than I did the story. Have any of the panelists put a game down after hitting a wall only to return and fall more in love with it months or years later? What made the difference the second time around?
Final Fantasy VII.
This is actually one of mine as well.
Was enraptured, obviously, when this game first came out. My neighbor had it. Motorcycle scene. Insane. Never had a PS1 for a while. Took me a while to get one.
Yeah.
Finally got a PS1.
Frozen Evil.
Yep. Played some Final Fantasy VII. Just fell out of it because it's a 100-hour game. Mm-hmm. Maybe not 100 hours, but you know. Yeah. Fell out of it, and then as I became more obsessed with games on a creation standpoint and a legacy standpoint, not just for pure fun in the moment or entertainment.
Right.
Started collecting all the Final Fantasies. Mm-hmm. I was like, dude, this is obviously a franchise that I really like, and I want to like go through all of them.
Right.
Tried again to go through 7 and failed, and then finally Brad was just like, dude, you gotta get it. Yeah, Brad the Savior. He's like, dude, you gotta get through it, man. So I was like, all right. It was, I think it must have been before like 13, probably.
Yeah,
I was like, going back.
There was a phase where you're going through all of them.
Yeah,
I remember.
that and like Castlevania, dude.
Yeah.
Big phases where I went and was like, dude, gotta get through these. So yeah, just started and stopped Final Fantasy VII a couple times, and then finally was like, I am not stopping. Went through it and obviously really enjoyed it.
I had a very similar experience with Final Fantasy VII. So, as a kid, I would just, a lot of times, for so many things, I would just get to a point in games where I loved the game, but I would get frustrated, or I'd get stuck, and I wouldn't know how to do something, and I would just stop. And that happened with Final Fantasy VII. And as I got older, specifically in high school, it was like, no, I really want to see these things through, and Final Fantasy VII was a big one for that, and god damn, it was amazing. Because Final Fantasy VII was the first Final Fantasy game that I played, and Final Fantasy VII was kind of magical to me because I saw it in Electronic Gaming Monthly, and I was like, wow, this looks really cool, and then it got praised to high heaven, like it became this legendary thing, and then I played it, and that opening, and just so many parts of the game, like every beat of that game hit me. And then when I finally got to the ending, when I was older, it was just as good. And so it was like kind of this beautiful circle just finally closing. So, yeah, it was great.
Iconic.
Iconic, yeah.
And even when we streamed Final Fantasy XIV game trailers all the way through, I'd already gone through the game, but
You know what I
it's still
really
beautiful.
want out of the remake? Want to use the Buster Sword the whole game. Don't give me new weapons.
I think you'll get new weapons.
Don't give me any new weapons. I don't want to swap any out. I
Why-
want to, because the Buster Sword is one of the best video game weapons in its design of all time, dude. It's so cool.
It is.
And
It
then they
is.
give you some random club or something.
There is a club. There's like a bat with a nail in it.
Just like random weapons.
I mean, you can just use the Buster Sword as a challenge if you want to.
But I'm not that good, man. I'm not good enough to do that. So it's like,
But I mean-
give me a way to, like, let me change my armor and my materia and my accessories and stuff, but let me hang on to that Buster Sword,
upgrade
man.
it or
I have a theory. I have a theory though. You don't actually need that much of it. You need just enough to be like, yes, that's really cool. Yes, I remember that. And then
Dude,
you'll be
and then
ready.
you have a sick moment where you, like, stick it in the ground,
That's average children. That happens in average children.
and then you come back to it at the end of the game.
That's average children.
Because like the Kingdom Key in Kingdom Hearts
Yeah,
is,
same thing.
is amazing
Same
and
thing.
iconic, but a huge part of the joy in Kingdom Hearts is
Yeah.
like getting new keyblades and seeing what they're going to look like for that world. At least I think that's cool.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
for sure, for sure.
So
It's tough because I have that like. It's epic for so many reasons, story-wise,
you're
too.
a canon man.
Yeah.
You're a
Canon
canon
man.
man.
Canon man.
When
Cloud uses the Buster
Yeah.
Sword, and that's the way that
When
it is.
he's fighting Sephiroth, he's busting out the Buster Sword.
Yeah, I mean, it would be weird if Sephiroth used a different weapon,
Yeah,
right?
right?
Like, that would be
Yeah.
odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be sick. Like, what if he gets something even crazier?
No, there's
It's like
nothing.
it's
There's
the
nothing crazier than his-
craziest. Like the Buster Sword and his sword are like the most iconic like weapons.
there is
of all
nothing
time.
cooler
Dude.
than that.
Like a long,
sword.
like a katana, like 10 feet long.
So sick.
Dude, I want to see that in the remake.
Dude, remake's coming, dude. It's
I
coming.
feel like Resident Evil 2 remake has made my expectations for this, which is not fair.
They're nervous. They played it. They were like, yo.
Well, let me
remake,
say this:
Look
when
out.
I played Kingdom Hearts 3, I was more confident in 7 remake.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is.
I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you the combat in 7 remake is gonna be action combat. We've seen it kind of already, but it'll be like it won't be the same, but it'll be more actiony.
This isn't fair, nor does it make that much sense. But Kingdom Hearts 3 is just kind of bolstering my confidence in Square Enix as a whole.
Right. The same man is working on that.
Doesn't really line up, but that's what it's
It's like
doing.
they did it.
I really
That's
like,
what it feels like
I
to
really
me.
like 15's combat.
I really
Yeah,
like
sure.
15.
Yeah.
I really like 15.
I really like 15.
I wish it was a little bit harder, but I think it makes up for that by being so much fun to fight stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of like Kingdom Hearts 3.
Anytime you have like a blink strike, man,
Yeah, it's
you got
the
me.
blink strike.
You got me.
The blink strike is something that remains satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
It remains.
Blink strike.
Yes.
As for a video game that I played
Sorry.
that I came around to later was a game called Vagrant Story.
Nice.
So it was I played a lot of JRPGs back in the day on the PS1, of course. Like,
Yeah.
The crazy time. Vagrant Story was different in its combat system, and I remember it being, when I played it, very tough, and it was like really position based, and I was kind of overwhelmed when I was playing when I was younger, because I was much younger when I was playing this game. And I was like, I don't get this, I don't like it, kind of thing like that. And I didn't play for like a day or two. Then I came back to it, and it just started clicking with me, and I was like,
Nice.
yes, this game rules. I love this game. This is great. So, yeah, but I don't think there's ever been a time where it's been like a month, a year for me coming back to a game.
Brad, I have not finished Vagrant Story, and I need to do that.
Yeah.
Because Vagrant Story is a
Yeah, well, I don't think
game
it'll
that
Remaster.
I played and thought was really cool and just didn't
Yeah, it's really
finish
cool.
or play more
It's
of
really
for some
cool.
reason.
I don't
But
think
yeah,
we'll ever get a game like that.
I still have my copy of Vagrant Story. I need
That's
to
good news.
play through it. Okay.
Dude, PS5 is going to have PS1 through 4 backwards compatibility. Slap in Vagrant Story. It's going to look better than ever.
PS5 will come with Vagrant Story installed.
Yes.
Every console. Dude, that'd be
on your
so
dashboard.
You can't play another
Oh,
game.
so sick. How sick would that be? Just out of every game ever, it's just Vagrant
Like
Story.
while your PS5 is like doing its initial startup, it takes time to do. It's like booting up, like
Yeah.
like when you install Windows. While that's going on, you're playing Vagrant Story.
Hubert, I hope it doesn't take that long to boot up. My God. Like installing Windows. No. All right. Next question comes in from Brandon. He says, "Hello, everybody. Recently, I've come across various videos and content where the term influential was being used as a talking point, if not an outright focus of said content. It was then I realized to say a game is or was influential has become an extremely common defense or topic of conversation when discussing games that stand the test of time. So I wanted to ask you, whenever you discuss a game being influential, from what perspective do you come from? Cultural impact, gameplay mechanics, storytelling tropes, something else entirely? Thanks for my question. If you take it, and stay easy, fellow allies." Interesting question.
Yeah.
All the above.
Yeah, all the
when he
above.
was listing stuff like that.
See, for me, I think the mark of influential is how it influences things over time or ways that it is imitated over time. Like, you saw an increase in cover-based shooting after Gears of War because it did it so well. So to me, that is the test of, hey, we did this really, really well, so everything else wants to use it, and it's good enough that people will want to do it for years to come.
Like cinematic storytelling became more prevalent after Metal Gear Solid. I would say.
Sure.
Those cutscenes and stuff,
like,
man.
yeah.
Like comparing a video game to a movie, I feel like Metal Gear Solid.
Like, I think Demon Souls started, but when Dark Souls came out, that's when everyone was like, oh, this was
Right.
awesome. Let's do these mechanics.
Right.
Like,
I mean-
every game was using mechanics from those games.
Dark Souls has like specifically created a new
genre.
of
Yeah.
things that are imitating it extremely hard. Yeah, absolutely. I think that is a
Or, like,
perfect
even think of,
example.
like, when Symphony of the Night,
Yes.
it did what Metroid did, and that
Yes,
started
Symphony
its
of the Night
own
and-
thing,
and,
too.
and
like
Super
that.
Metroid are prime examples as well.
I would say Mario 64 totally was, too, when it came out at the time.
yeah.
Everyone doing 3D platformers like that. Like, that's when that genre was, like, really thriving, the N64, PS2 era.
Yeah, I do think it can be hard because sometimes the thing that spawns the most imitators was actually directly influenced by something else.
Yeah.
And so people forget about the thing that really started it, but they remember the thing that created so many imitators.
Like
when-
Doom, right? The original Doom.
Oh, and like forgetting about
Wolfenstein?
Forgetting about
Wolfenstein
Wolfenstein,
3D.
and then
Yeah.
even before that, like it wasn't the first-person shooter, but
yeah.
still, Wolfenstein and Doom are kind of like the influencers, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about, I feel like Wolfenstein 3D was pretty influential and pretty well recognized, but like Guitar Hero, I think is an interesting example because that was a thing that really exploded. But there were other guitar-based rhythm games before that. I'm trying to think of I think it's a Konami-developed game that I'm thinking of, but is basically just Guitar Hero. You can play it in round one.
Sick.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's what influential means to me. I do get annoyed sometimes when I consume video game discussion of like best games when that's kind of the word that they rest on. We're like, oh, we have to include it here because it's influential without really going into the nitty gritty of why that matters. Yeah. But it's important to recognize the word.
To innovate.
Yeah.
I like innovation.
We're gonna end on a
And on a spicy.
no.
And on a spice.
No. I'm trying to find
You killed her.
you
In your rage.
killed her. Wait a minute.
Episode 9 comes out this year.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Hope it's good.
Avengers Endgame comes out this year.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Shenmue 3 comes
Hope
out
it's
this
good.
year.
Hope it's good.
Shenmue
Guys.
3, hope it's good. Hope it's good.
Hope it's good.
Yeah, hope that's good.
Yeah, hope it's...
I feel like I'm having a deja vu moment.
Okay.
And man, between getting flustered with tabletop content and this, it's been like some low points for me this week.
Oh.
But
Just enjoy Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, man.
no, I think we might have done this email in the last episode.
Oh.
That's embarrassing.
Which one?
This influential one.
Really?
Oh. Well,
But I don't remember.
you got different panel on it, I guess.
We do have a different panel. But if we did ask it last time,
Good. Now you got our perspective on it.
that just
You
shouldn't
probably learned a
happen.
lot from us.
That just shouldn't happen.
It's all right, dude. It's just just
cool.
an email.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
It's
you,
okay.
you got a lot to juggle, Ben. Don't beat yourself up.
Yeah,
man.
don't worry about it, man.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Moving on. This one comes in from Patrick. Frustrated at 10 out of 10 games.
Okay.
Hey, allies. I can't do it anymore. I can't play Red Dead 2 anymore. It's not because the game is so long or too realistic or there's no fast travel, which there is. None of that stuff. I'm just really frustrated at the inconsistency of the rules of this game. One mission, I have to stealth and lose honor for killing anyone, even when they are shooting at me. And then a cutscene happens, and now I can kill them fine with no honor loss. I have a myriad of these types of issues with very specific examples, but for brevity's sake, I won't go into them. Overall, my experience, though, is that the game doesn't operate by the rules it tries to set, and because of that, hurts the gameplay flow and realism in an otherwise beautifully crafted world and story. However, when I try to tell this to my friends, or even send them videos of the game clearly breaking down its own rules, they say, I never experienced that. Do you have any games like this, ones that you are completely at odds with, but other people say, I just never experienced that?
The Last Guardian.
Yeah. The Last Guardian is a prime example of this.
Yes.
Yeah, I had so many problems with it, dude. So many. Just control and Trico and everything, and it was just a struggle for me to get through.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's a 10 out of 10 game, but I remember I didn't like Mass Effect 1 when I played it. I remember a lot of people
Not
loved
a
that
10
game.
out of 10.
I know,
Two,
but like, I don't know. Like,
2 is
two,
10.
I like 2 more. I don't think I like 2 as much as everyone else, but I do like 2 more. I just like, I don't know. I can't think of like 10 out of 10 games where I'm like, God, this. Like, I could usually find something I really like about them, even if it's not the type of game for me. I don't know. Like, the 10s don't come that often where I could do that, I guess.
I know a divisive one is Uncharted. People think it's overrated.
But does it get 10 out of 10s everywhere? Like, you might consider it
Just
10 out of
for me.
10.
Yeah.
But like
Greg
Red
Miller
Dead got
gave
more.
Uncharted 3 a 10.
Okay.
This maybe is a little bit outside of the context of this question, but I feel like one that drives me up a wall is when you run into a boss that you're just really struggling against and you just need to vent, and the first response you hear is, yeah, I never had a problem with that.
Yeah, never heard of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's just
maybe
like
you're just not good at it.
you just feel so bad for daring to struggle at this part in a video game.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe this happened with the Bloodborne DLC and Ludwig. Because that fight gave me
That's
a lot of trouble.
that's a hard fight, dude.
Yeah. The Dark Souls 2 DLC as well is another one
Much harder than the base game.
that the bosses in the first Dark Souls 2 DLC gave me a lot of trouble. And I don't feel like
The Gank
a
Squad?
lot of people had as much trouble as I did.
The Gank Squad one? Or the Dragon?
No, it was like a lady.
Oh, yes, okay.
Do you know who I'm talking
Yeah,
about? I don't remember her name.
I forgot her name, too.
Yeah. But there's some lady in Dark Souls 2
Yeah,
DLC.
I forgot her name.
Yeah, that was tough. Got
But,
through it, though.
But, you know, it goes both ways here. It is, there's always, you know, if something gets a 10, there's always big commotion. There's, you know, and there's always going to be a certain amount of people, or there's always going to be a group that doesn't agree with it or doesn't like it.
Correct.
But I feel like the same can be said the other way around. Like, a game can get a 5 out of 10,
And you really like it.
and you can love it. So it's just, you know, if something's
I
not
think
clicking,
when there's like a 10 slapped on something, people are like really intense about it.
People are expecting and waiting for, like, this is the next big thing. This is one of the greatest games of all time.
Right.
You know, if it gets a 10, it's got to be one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, and I think something to keep in mind, not to, I guess, oversimplify it, but games are becoming more multifaceted. They're becoming more complex. And so I feel like what you take away from a game is going to be way different than anybody else. And games are including more and more ways to play. And so your very specific style might not gel the same way that somebody else's does. So, yeah.
I get it, though. I felt terrible for not liking Last Guardian. Yeah. It was like, what am I felt like I was doing something wrong. Like, am I playing this wrong? Am I doing something wrong? No. Like, what's wrong with me? You know, you look inward. It's like, dude, if everyone's giving this game a 10 and saying it's the greatest thing out there, and you're not enjoying it, you think something's wrong with yourself. At least I did. Yeah. So that was an anxiety and a frustration.
For me, The Last Guardian, like, Trico being annoying or not listening or being cumbersome definitely happened, but it never bothered me so much that it ruined the experience or made me not like it. And so that can happen too, right? Where different things will annoy you versus not. Where like Sonic Forces, I think, is a good example. Yeah. I like it. Yeah, exactly. I like it. It's not like you didn't see the parts of the game that maybe aren't that great, right? Yeah. And that's not a slam on you or Sonic Forces. No. It's just different experiences. I don't even know if I messed up. I don't even know for sure if we did that email or not.
We will know when we see the comments.
We will know. Loud and clear.
Oh, yeah.
But I think
you'll let us know.
I think regardly we should just do one more email.
Okay.
You guys okay with that?
I could do 10 more emails.
We're going to do one more email.
Okay.
It's late, dude.
I don't even know what time it is. It could be 1 a.m.
It's 11.
Okay.
Title, Metroid Prime delay. This comes in from Ryder. Howdy, allies. Firstly, congratulations on the new studio. Super proud and happy for you all. Secondly, for some time now, there have been people wishing for and or expecting a Metroid Prime Trilogy remaster or package of some sort for the Nintendo Switch. With the recent announcement, the development on Metroid Prime 4 has effectively been restarted from the beginning. I think it's safe to assume that the game won't be released for another 3 to 4 years. I don't know about that. Do you think it is now more plausible that the trilogy will be released for Switch in the next 1 to 2 years? I think the reaction to the announcement has been mostly positive due to its transparency and honesty, but I also know that many people have been waiting a long time for 4 as it is. I would think releasing the trilogy with regular console shooter controls and portability could go a long way in temporarily sating people's desire for a new Prime experience. This is a question... This is not a new question for Easy Allies, but I would like to get the Brad Ellis and Michael Huber perspective on the Metroid Prime.
I think I talked actually about that too on podcast, Easy A podcast, just about Metroid, the delay, and now I was like, dude, now's the time to get.
Well, then it's not a new question for the panelists.
No, for never mind. I don't know.
No, but
I don't know. What's going on? I don't know. I thought Ben was going to say something else, and my brain went to somewhere, and then he said, and then I was confused. No, to answer the question, yes, I think it's coming. Metroid Prime Trilogy. 1, because of the delay, so now it will help ease the delay. But then 2, it's always a smart move to help people get caught up to a later game in your franchise, to get more people on board. I think Kingdom Hearts was a great example. 1.5, 2.5, 2.8. I think those packages helped at least a number of people get caught up before 3, and that is awesome and always appreciated.
So Nintendo... I recently read that Nintendo is teasing that they have a game announcement coming soon that they think people are going to be very excited about. I think it's the Metroid Prime trilogy.
That'd be so hype.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
It's been a really interesting series of events where this delay happened, and it seems like everybody's cool with it. I'm personally very cool with it because, I got enough to play.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm excited for Metroid Prime 4, but there's enough going on. But also, them coming out and saying that retro is now associated with it, great.
Yeah.
I understand that a lot has changed in retro over the years, but still, I think that's an encouraging announcement. Great. They will make a good game. Yeah. Take as much time as you need. Don't rush quality.
And it felt 4 years away anyway, because they didn't show anything. So I think it getting delayed was just like business as usual.
Yeah.
Whereas if something... Like, if Death Stranding got delayed now, it would be a big blow because we've actually seen a bit of it,
right.
So.
Right. It does help. I feel like that is an element of it that hasn't been discussed too much, or at least I haven't heard it, is, you're right. It does totally help that we haven't seen anything. It's not like we had some sick trailer that got us really excited and had us go crazy with possibilities and theories.
Versus 13.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That
that's
trailer,
great.
dude.
When do you reasonably expect we'll see Metroid Prime 4?
See it?
Yeah.
I think we'll see something next year, next E3.
I agree.
It could be just a trailer or whatever. And we'll see something next E3.
I agree.
I think we might see something at the Game Awards.
Ooh,
That'd be cool. That'd be a great time to do
Keely
it.
scoop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a little minute tease or so. Maybe a cinematic, like a CG.
Do you remember
Or another logo.
when Anuma and Miyamoto like teased Breath of the Wild for the first time, and it was just like in a field?
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
I can imagine something kind of open and transparent like that, where it's
Nintendo-esque,
like, we still have a lot to go, but here's kind of where
The
our
concept.
headspace is. Yeah. I could see something like that.
Cool.
Cool.
Dude, I went back and I watched the Miyamoto Twilight Princess reveal.
Oh my god.
Before it was
dude.
Twilight Princess.
Oh my god. One of the best moments.
Insane, dude.
Dude, people were going bananas. I think
It was like WWE Attitude Era,
I
dude.
think blood was there, dude.
Just insane.
Like people like just shouting and freaking out. Like that stuff like rarely happens now, dude.
so,
It was so
epic.
cool.
Comes out with the sword and shield.
Yeah. That was good stuff. That was good stuff.
That was
That was a big moment for me.
more game company people should come out with a sword and shield.
Yeah, every time like
But there's only so
Like,
many
when they-
iconic swords. One of which is the Buster Sword.
when they
Their life-size Buster Sword.
like Nomura needs to come out with a Buster Sword.
And like, there's just an accident, and they accidentally like cut off somebody's arm or something. Yeah, be great. All right, that is gonna do it for Frame Trap episode 74. Man, what a bummer that I fumbled it at the end there. But
okay.
Too hard on
Yeah,
yourself,
too hard, man.
Jeez. There's no problem.
I do get to play some Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I still had a great time regardless. Thank you so much for joining me, Michael Huber and Bradley Ellis. I hope everything worked out with the audio and video. Please let us know. Give us any and all feedback. We do appreciate it. If you want to send in an email that I might read twice, go email askeasyallies@gmail.com, please. That is the email address. It is askeasyallies@gmail.com. Until next time.